Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Liverpool 12th Man Show. I'm the Liverpool 12th Man, and we are going to be firing up the live bird today, doing a nice little review. I got to thinking about this golden generation of talent I believe that we have, and it made me starting to think of who are some of these players are could be bound for possible superstars. We might have some superstars in our midst. So I really wanted to get a good read on some of these players, kind of go over them with you guys. Again, I know I've already done a Youth Academy show that highlighted all the Youth Academy players, but these are definitely the cream of the crop somewhat of this. And it's a pretty lengthy list. So I was pretty excited to go through this with you. That's why also I brought on board with us the Irishman. Brian, how are you doing?
Yeah, big up.
Big up. Yes. We're gonna get it in for sure on this list of really great players. I think originally we were gonna do something of maybe a top 10, or originally gonna do a top 5, and then I started looking at the list. I'm like, wow, there's 10, 12, 13 players here that we could probably go from. And then it became a top 10. Then it was just okay, let's just figure out where these guys are destined somewhat, where we think the potential is for some of these players, because the sky is always high, they always have the potential of reaching great achievements in their lives. They've already, some of these guys have already won trophies, and not even old enough to drink yet. So I mean, it's a fun place to be if you're looking at the future for some of our youth players. Brian, how do you look at today's agenda, or today's show today?
Well, look, it's great that we can actually have a list of players that we think, it's worth doing it with, because all of a sudden, since about maybe 3 months, 4 months into the season, we started picking up kind of little bits and pieces, and then all of a sudden it kind of turned into a bit of a full-blown injury crisis.
Right.
So yeah. In a very short space of time, a large number of people that are players, people wouldn't say maybe 6. Mm-hmm. Say probably started with Kwanzaa, then when he came in very early on, then Bradley came in, and then all of a sudden you had this match period where we had Clark and McConnell and Dans and the other 2 guys. They were all coming in and making impact. So kind of out of nowhere, it was a kind of a showcase. Whether the club would have wanted to be able to do it like that, who knows? Mm-hmm. But that's the way it turned out for us. So all these guys that normally, the average punter would just be hearing about them, from their mates or the people that they know that pay more attention to the youth football. Say, oh no, this guy is really good. This guy is really good. Well, we actually got to see a lot of them on live TV, in Europa or FA Cup. So us as fans that usually don't get to see these youth games or don't have time to watch all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Probably the first time anyone or a lot of us have seen these guys. So genuinely surprised to see really how good they are. There wasn't any of them that came up that it was probably, he's probably not ready. Every single one of them, massively impressive. So
absolutely. I mean, they've all stepped up when called upon. A lot of them have really just not even really looked like they were scared to step onto that pitch, which is great to see. One of the biggest things that you need out of a youth player, at least, is that ability to have confidence, the same confidence that you have when you're, with your mates in the U21s or the U19s. You still want to see that confidence in the players that they have amongst their brethren, and it's been tested. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you know who wasn't lacking that? Kwanzaa. Straight into the team. Into the team.
Exactly.
What took you so long? Eh?
Exactly.
What took you so long to give me the call up, lads? Come on, I'm here now. I'm here to stay. Come on.
Exactly.
Yeah, he was not lacking any confidence.
Exactly. He was more so it was some of these players. And this is why I wanted to also do this show, is because some of these players, when it gets mentioned, when the players get mentioned, it quite often you forget that they're under 21 years old. You know, some of these guys are just, are still, for lack of a better word, but kind of like babies in a sense, in the sense of they're young men, but yes, and like they are certainly not. They've definitely shown wisdom beyond their years, in the sense of when you see them on the pitch, when you see them interacting with the other players, and and not shrinking from the moments. I mean, whether it's some of those two goals, for instance, and this comes to mind, the two goals that Dan's had, for instance, those are top-notch goals.
Yeah,
those are top-notch, and they're both two distinctly different goals that he scored. And I was just like, wow, like that's someone that has a real potential in his future. Some real potential for his future.
and there's no doubt that all of them being there together helps. If there was just one kid that kind of got promoted, but the fact that they're all in there together, and they've seen not so much it's like a domino effect, but they see Kwanzaa getting in and doing really well and being trusted, and then they see Bradley getting in and doing really well and being trusted. So it's kind of becomes not a domino effect, as I say, but it becomes exponentially easier for the next guy, because you're going in, you're making your step up. But then you look to your left, and there's Kwanzaa, who he's like you said, your mate, the guy that you've been playing your whole going up through all the underage groups with. You look to the right, there's Bradley, same thing. You played all your youth career with him, so you instantly feel a lot more comfortable. That can't hurt at all.
Yeah, it can. And on top of that, I would even go as far as to say it also doesn't hurt when you look out there and you see Curtis Jones. When you look out there and you see Elliot, people that are probably right around the same age group as you were, at some stage that you might have played with, or you see you see the club players that blossom into or I would say club legend, but he's still very young at 25. But like you see your Trent Alexander-Arnolds, that have gone through the same steps you've gone through.
He's vice captain.
Like couple lockers down from you. Yeah.
Vice captain then as well. I think what it does is on good evening to Revena as well.
Hey,
and what it does, it says to young players that, number one, there is a genuine pathway. Mm-hmm. You're not wasting your time. You're not wasting your time as a young player. When they promise these kids like Cade Gordon, who we had to spend $3.5 million on, I think 3.2 million on. These trainee only kids that we had to take. When you go there and it's not like the kid is begging to come to. It's not. They're not happy to come, but when they've got 4 or 5 clubs in for them, they go and they make the pitch and they do the thing. They invite them to the training ground, sit them down, tell them where they see him playing, what they see his future been. You've got to kind of make a pitch to even a young kid. So what it does is it shows to any of these kids that might see themselves, or might be potentially like knowing that they have a bright future, wanting to get to the right team. If we sit them down and say there's a pathway into the first team here for you, you can get, you're not just here to be farmed. They can look at it and go, they're not lying. Kwanzaa is playing now. I know injuries and all that, but Kwanzaa is in. Bradley's gotten in. There is chances to get into this team. We don't build them up to farm them out and loan them out or sell them on. If we want to bring in good players and show them that, look, you can get into this team, and if you're good enough, number one, you'll get a big new contract, and number two, you'll be competing hopefully with the new regime. The new management, that we're still competing for trophies, and things remain the same. But hopefully they will. But it's just great to be able to show young players who are choosing their next club, the best young players in the world. Well, look, you can go to Liverpool and you can they'll give you your shot. You will get in.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing about it is that like I started looking at this list that I've like put together here, and I started looking at it, I was like, wow, we have a lot of talent on this team, but not only do we have a lot of talent, there's a lot of I can't even put it like that. And there's a lot of like there's like 14 different players, for instance, on this list that I have in front of me, and that's like pretty much like a whole squad and starter or a squad and sub, excuse me, to go
back in the day. Back in the day, that was too big a squad.
Yeah, exactly.
Back in the day, you'd have your 11, and there's sometimes it wasn't that long ago. There was no subs.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why I was.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine they played one game this season. Imagine that they just played one game this season. No subs. No. Guardiola has actually done it recently, but yeah, some guy gets injured. Let's see how injured you actually are, mate. We'll find out now.
Right. I was gonna say too. You know what? If we had this type of confidence or this type of squad together when we had to play, I think it was we had to play Villa that year when we didn't have like enough. We were stuck in
in the FA Cup,
the double competition situation.
Yeah, we were over at the old Club World Cup there.
We possibly could have given them a run with some of the selections that we have nowadays. It could have maybe been a little bit of a different circumstance for
think
us.
We were over in Japan, weren't we?
I think we were part of the I think we were in the
Club World Cup.
Yeah, the Club World Cup.
Yeah. Yep. After we won the Champions League, when you go into that thing, then it's mid-season. I think it just crashed, and they should have moved it, but they didn't.
I don't understand why they didn't move it. Like, as I understand why they wouldn't do something like that. I mean, like, I don't think it's fair to put a club at a place where they had to choose between competitions. You know what I mean?
They did it before when Man United had to withdraw. So Man United just withdrew from it famously to go to the first one. Yeah. After they won in 1999, they knew it was going to happen, and it's the FA basically playing Billy Big Bollocks, going, this is the FA Cup, this is the most important, this is more important. We're calling you up, kind of thing. And they should just not allow a clash. But yeah, Man United they got pelters for that. They put first team ever to pull out of the FA Cup.
Pull out of that.
To go and play in that.
To go play for another tournament like that. Yeah. Let me give some of these shout outs. Big shout out to Red for Life, Alexander, Dustin, Revenite, as we mentioned before, Cedric in the house. Big up to you as well. And all those that are joining us as well, just sitting back, maybe listening at work or in the car. I really do appreciate the fact that, you would like to hear a little bit of a little bit of what I like to call jewels, spread the jewels amongst my brethren here, my Reds brethren, always trying to do my part. Some of these comments as well. Dustin says he remembers summer when we signed Clark, Elliott, Vandenberg. Oh, wow. That's another player. I don't even think I put Vandenberg in our list. I'll see about adding him in there in a second.
Sep.
Sep. I mean, Sep was one of our big signings that year. He was one of our few signings that year.
There was him and Adrian.
Yeah.
I think he was the only.
Yeah.
Did you forget Calvin Ramsey? Did you?
Yeah, I did not put Calvin Ramsey on this list. Jeez. I'm gonna add some of these players in here too as we speak before we get to it, because I'll bring up this for what we have it because originally this is kind of what we were looking at. This is like an Opta squad, I think they're called, or Opta stats. Let me double check this. Opta analysis. And they did a breakdown on our club to say where the depth chart will somewhat be as well. And I'm gonna get into some of these other comments as well before. So continue to put the comments in, guys. But Luis Diaz obviously starting, and Nunez, Salah, blah blah blah. But yet, Kumas, Dan's is on this list. Kai Gordon's on this list. I haven't even seen this Thomas Hill, for instance. They had Thomas Hill listed on our list as a right center mid. Trey Neone on the list. McConnell's on that list. Shatik, Bobby Clark. We could even technically I mean, he's not a youth player, but I mean, technically we could even put, because this is an under 21 thing, we could put Gravenberch on that list too, which is kind of scary, you know. Scanlon, Kwanzaa, Reese Williams, even though he might be on the verge of being out the door player, but he's still red currently as on loan. Connor Bradley, and then Fabian Mazurek gets the mention there, despite Marcelo being on my list.
It's interesting to see that they have Gomez there at right back.
Yeah,
it seems that the shift in perception now that he is almost certainly no longer a centre half, but that could change with a new manager. So but I think just by looking at that thing there, not going off topic too much, but I mean, Matip will be gone. Reese Williams almost certainly be gone. If Gomez is going to be needed, I mean, if that doesn't scream we need new centre halves, then I don't know what it does. Because if you take out Matip and Williams, just assume they're gone this summer, and we need Gomez for right and left back cover. That leaves us with Van Dijk, Kanade, and Kwanzaa. When you look at that actually isn't brilliant. So I think we're guaranteed to get at least one centre half in the summer. So because there's not that many young kids. There's not many young kids, and
it's gonna blow. It's gonna. Go ahead.
But I know it's not a position that you want to be expecting. Like Kwanzaa is a one-off. He is what he is, but let's not. We need to buy in some proper, not young players for that position.
Yeah,
I'd like to see someone like 25, 26 kind of age come in.
Yeah. Reverend I saying I'm excited to see what these young bucks can do. My picks, Dan's, Clark's, Bradley, and Neone for him will be the ones that will get a chance to do well. Big up JK in the house. And then he says he's been injured so long, so easy to forget about Ramsey. Yeah, it is somewhat, because I mean he was slated to be the heir apparent even before Connor Bradley. Now it makes me question, like, how does this battle for right back? We dealt with some of that yesterday, talking about, does Trent start or does Connor start? And now this guy, Calvin Ramsey, for instance, that Reverend Knight was just speaking on, is a player that was slated to be the heir apparent to the right back for Trent, to be that deputy for Trent. He got put out on loan and has been dealing with injuries here and there that has kept him from really making a real, push forward in his career. But he's a player that has a lot of potential, and he's a player that I also know a lot of people have a lot of big hopes for as well. Dustin has a question for us. He asked, do you think Edwards leaving has something to do with this? He was ruthless with academy players, selling them for good money, like Ryan Kent and others. He rated very highly. Musolowski is a right wing too, not what is that?
Yeah, he's on our list. He's on our list. Graphic.
He's on our list. Yeah, he's just on the tier. Yeah,
he's on the tier list. But when he says has something to do with this, something to do with what? What do you mean?
Meaning, like, did he have? He's asking, like, he used to be ruthless with academy players, selling them for academy players for good money. Maybe he's talking about Ryan Brewster wasn't necessarily an academy player, but I don't think he was, right? I don't think he was. I think we got Ryan Brewster, but anyway, like a Brewster or something like that, like asking these players that are more like these younger players rather than he's saying.
Hang on, I know what he means.
Yeah,
I know what he means. What he means is Edwards leaving meant that we didn't sell our good young players, so that's why we still have them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I look, right, like name me a player that he sold for big money that has done anything. Harry Wilson has done nothing. Ryan Kent has totally dropped down to nowhere basically. I know he's up in Scotland, but Brad Smith, the only one that's come good and is Solanke. You know what I mean? So he's all those players that he sold for big money were players that we should have sold. None of those were good enough to be in it. None of them. And there's been a few things like this where sort of people saying, "Oh, maybe," as if it's kind of like. And I'm not saying Dustin is saying this at all, but saying a couple of you saying, "Oh, I bet you Edwards had something to do with this," or "I bet you Edwards had something to do with some kind of a gotcha thing." It's like he was the director of football. So I bet he had something to do with that transfer. Of course he did. He's the director of football. It's his freaking job. You haven't uncovered some kind of secret, him coming back now. I heard that when X transfer happened, Edwards was behind that. He's not behind the curtain. He's front and center. It's his job to buy and sell players. If a player left, it's because Edwards and the guy below him now, a lot of people are missing the point on that as well. They don't realize that Edwards isn't coming back to do the same job he did. There's, Edwards is going to come back and he's going to do this and going to do that because he did it before. He's not doing the same job. Richard Hughes is going to be doing what Edwards did. All these decisions are going to be Richard Hughes. He's going to be reporting up to Michael Edwards, who of course will have an interest, but he hands down the power to him. He's the one. So I find it very strange now that Edwards is coming back. There's been a lot of kind of Miss Marple kind of, Murder, She Wrote style. Oh, I heard from someone that Edwards was involved in this, Edwards was involved in that. Yeah, of course he was. He was the sporting director. You haven't, that's like saying, oh, I heard, actually that, Gordon Ramsay was the one behind the food coming out of that restaurant. Well, yeah. It's like, I don't get it, man. Of course he's going to be involved in these things. But name me one of those boys that you'd have back. Name me one of those boys that you would have back that he sold. Brewster, Ryan Kent, Wilson, Solanke, any of them. Like Jordan Ibe. Name any of those guys that you would have back at the club. None of them. Brewster.
I get what you're saying.
So, time moves on, these guys get hired because they're good at what they do. Let's just give them a chance to come in. Let's give Hughes a chance to come in and see what he can do. I'm not going to judge the guy before he's put a body of work in. I don't know anything about him. I'm not going to judge him. I don't know what their way of dealing with like the younger players will be. We don't know, but we're not the kind of club that goes out and spends big money. So I would assume that we're the kind of club that is more going to keep nurturing young talent.
Well, you know what, too? Let me make sure. I'm going to go through the names on the list for you guys. And if I did miss someone, please do tell me if I did miss someone that you think should be a part of, should be someone that we put in as a consideration on this list, as in someone that we think is going to stay with the team and such. That I don't think, for instance, I don't think Reece Williams is going to be likely to stay with the club or in the current circumstances. You know what I mean, Brian? So, like, I didn't include him in this list, for instance, even though he is under 21. But okay, so let me make sure I have all in here now because. I actually am interested to see if we do bring back Sepp Vandenberg. To be honest with you, I would be kind of interested to see if we do bring him back.
Oh, it's been too long.
Sepp Vandenberg, excuse me. It's been too long. You think?
If he would, I don't know, man. Just from my experience, I don't know anything but just from my experience watching the game, if you're at a club that long and you keep getting sent away, it's not going to happen for you.
But these guys he's actually playing well now. That's why.
Yeah,
I know. And you just mentioned that fact of We need center backs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, look,
You just
I
mentioned you
get,
looked at that list. You're looking at that list,
but
and you're like, you need
I'm
center
allowed
backs.
to say it hard. I'm allowed to say hard no and say, in my experience, guys that go away that long, doesn't matter how good they're doing away at smaller teams.
Mm-hmm.
If you've been away that long and that many loans, you're not going to make it at the club. It's why you keep getting sent
Okay.
away. He's not. He's doing well. That's both things can be true. I mean, like it's like that other kid that went out for like 4. Yeah, he just never came back, and then they just go away. Like, yeah, we needed players, and he kept getting sent away. You know, certain players, like we needed people. So I would have. I'm surprised he's still on a contract, to be honest.
I know. I am. Big up to Frank Carlisle. If you haven't subscribed to his channel, please do. He's a very good friend of the channel. And you know, we're part of a vital part of the Reds community. So big up to him. And also big up to Drunk Vigo. How you doing, my fine sir? Yes, been crunching the data, you know, trying to giving Edwards a run for his money. At least trying to at least. Yeah, so that went on. Oh, he's talking to Revenite. I thought he was talking to me. So we will get through this. So these are the players that I have on this list. Okay. Excuse me. Clark, McConnell, Dans, Kumas, Luke Chambers, Owen Beck, Trey Neone, Kai Gordon, Connor Bradley, Doak, Kwanzaa, Marcelo, Stewart, Tyler Morton, Elliott, Ramsey, Gravenberch, and I put Seth Vandenberg. Despite what Brian says, I still have hope. Okay. I still have a little bit of hope. So, you know, because I've been, since I've been hearing the good reports, I've been trying to, you know, get a little bit more of an eye on, like, you know, on him on him playing and everything. Definitely take care, Frank. Take care, Frank. So I've been getting a little bit more of a, like, that's kind of what I've been doing a little bit more. So, you know, I guess maybe I understand what you're saying, Brian, but you know, there's, you know, we're all welcome to our opinions. You know, it's an open gallery here, open forum. So let's just, you know, right? So, so yeah, so let me make sure I've got all these guys in here, to tell you the truth, because like it ended up looking like I said, I started looking at this list and some of the names that we just even added now to this list. There's like more than, there's about what? Let's see, hold on, 16 for Gravenberg.
Oh, you shot.
Shoot, and put Elliott on there too.
Yeah, we got actually start. We will start. We will actually start doing this list at some point. We're going to stop adding players to it now.
Yeah, I know. I keep adding to it. I got it. Let's go. I got it.
If they played for the first team, okay, before this season, that means they were already in the first team last season. Then they're not eligible because they've been, you know, Elliott hasn't played unders. This for me isn't an age thing. We know, you know, someone like Elliott or, you know, Curtis Jones or Gravenberch. I don't think that would be.
Well, this isn't.
They're not kind of players.
Originally, I get what you're saying. Originally, the thumbnail though I had out there says U21, under 21. Yeah, so that's why I was going to possibly include Elliott in the list and Gravenberch maybe in this list, because I think sometimes when people look at these players, they see the youth players. Yeah, I get it, but like some of these youth players are the same age as Gravenberch and Elliott.
Yeah, agreed. But do you think we need to speculate on the potential of Elliott or the potential of Gravenberch?
Oh no, I just kind of wanted.
I would see this is more about the Kwanzaas and the Scanlons and the Clarks, not just because they're under 21, but if they're, that's just the way I would be thinking of it. It's more about those kind of guys.
I got what you're saying. All right. Well, then in that case, I'll put put
I
a
wouldn't put
hold
Elliot.
on Elliott and Gravenberch.
Yeah.
I just kind of wanted to put Elliott as a superstar. That's the reason. Maybe that's my little
Yeah.
bias.
Okay. Well, look,
To be able to put him as
it's
a
your
superstar.
show. It's your show. It's your show. You know. But
Don't worry, Brian. Don't worry. Don't worry. I don't want to make you get angry. And
that has never happened. That has never happened.
Never happened. Never ever happened. All right, let's get this show on the road here. Let's start it. Let's start it off. Let's get this tier rocking and rolling.
No, and Chris Angel was
right,
in it. Hello, Chris Angel. Chris Angel.
Is Chris Angel here? Oh, big up to
He
John
was.
Conway, by the way. Oh yeah. Oh, shoot, I didn't see that. All right, so let's get it started. Let's get it started. If we're gonna skip some of the bigger names, as Brian just said. Let's start off with Louis Kumas. Let's start with Louis Kumas. All right. Because I think, despite that, I have it here. Where would you say the potential of Louis Kumas is? And you know, the young man's a former son of a former Premier League player. You know, Louis, his dad played for Jason Kumas played for West Brom, played for Wigan, played for Cardiff City. He joined from Tranmere, where I think his father played there too, didn't he too as well? Possibly, I think so. Do you know, Brian? I think his father played there for a couple of years at least.
At Tranmere, Jason Kumas.
Mm-hmm.
It's entirely possible, but it's not who I think of him with. But he's from that area, so
okay.
He was a great player. Well, not like a great player, but he was a brilliant footballer. Like back in the day, he's one of those guys really, really talented, but not like the kind of guy who they could bend in a free kick. You know, brilliant technique, a really technically really good player. He was famous for having that. Like, so hopefully the kid has taken on some of that kind of, at least that DNA.
Did you were like,
His dad was a central midfielder. His dad was His dad was the kind of player that wouldn't make it today because he didn't have a lot of pace. He's quite a slow player, but a very almost like there's someone who's really obvious. I can't remember, like James Ward-Prowse, almost how good he was with his foot. But wasn't very mobile.
That was his dad. Yeah,
his dad. So, but his son is, from what I can see, more of a Florian Wirtz kind of,
Oh, we can only hope for that. We can only hope
that
for
positionally, he likes to play in that little pocket on the left, not quite up front, not in the midfield. He likes to play in that little area there. So I'm not sure what he's considered to be. To me, he looks like a kind of an attacking midfielder.
Well,
but that seems to be
he's listed as or say listed, but as in like the perception of his role is as a wide forward or even as a striker. He has 7 goals in the PL2, or had 7 goals in the PL2, making him he was the 8th highest scorer in the competition in the PL2. But he's only played 627 minutes, so that's pretty considerable, when you really look at it, because his goals have come from basically 2.9 xG, and his overall performance is like around a 4.1 xG, and he has the second highest xG in the league behind West Ham's Callum Marshall, which is pretty exceptional. I think though, he had like a hat trick against Arsenal. What would you think of for Kumas? I have some high hopes. I know that the goal that he got in the Prem wasn't exactly the greatest of it was a deflected goal that went in, but still, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So I mean, you got to give him credit for that. Where do you see Kumas dropping in? K-Max says non-Prem player for him. He will have a good career in the Championship. Oh, okay. Interesting. What would you think? What would you say, Brian?
We see. This is my this is my kryptonite. This stuff, I've openly said from day one, and any of this kind of stuff. These are the guys I don't know a lot about.
Right.
Yeah, I'm really, I can't. Oh, I've been watching him for 2 years. I know this, I know that. So we seem to be missing a tier. I think, like, basically, or maybe it might be lower, but basically, like, good enough to play in the Premier League, but not for Liverpool. But yeah, I really don't like, just by the look of him and all of that. I'm going to say.
Oh, okay, I got you.
'Cause
yeah, I'll put a tier in him.
I'd say LFC squad player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe. And he's one of the ones I know more about.
Mm-hmm. Let me double check. All right, so I'll put it here. Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
So
that's where I'll put it.
There. All right. So yeah, tell me what you guys think in the chat too. By the way, we're trying to like gauge where do we see somewhat, as in like, look, the sky's the limit for all these players. We all hope that they get to become, I hope that we have 15 superstars on our hands. That'd be great. But ideally, if we're doing, in Football Manager, for instance, they have that ceiling. They have like the ceiling as to where they think the player would be or go. Where do you perceive Kumas going? 2 years of Klopp developing Kumas or proper new manager, I'll be all in for. Big up, keep it real too, by the way, says Dustin. Big up, keep it real though too. It's going to be interesting too, because a lot of this is going to be like, a lot of the in-house staff that we have that has helped develop it. The foundation is there in the sense of like the program and how everything is run is already set in stone somewhat for this club. But, we are going to see some differences. You are going to see some changes in staff that move on to other places or move on to better opportunities possibly, or other opportunities. Some might stay on, some certainly might stay on. But it's going to be interesting. Is there
anybody in the chat without like just like bigging themselves up? I know you're all honest people, like, but is there anybody in the chat that actually does regularly watch, that was watching these guys, under 21s, under 23s?
I know K-Mac does a lot.
Yeah, if they have, then make sure you put in your opinions, because like I'll say from the off, a lot of these guys I can't really talk about. I honestly don't know anything about a few of them.
Mm-hmm.
So it will be good. Anyone else is out there, if you know your stuff.
Yeah, this is your opportunity to be a part of to really be a star of the show with us, because I have my notes and everything. But to be honest with you, I have not watched a lot of these players play as much as others have in the lower levels in like the PL2 and such, but this is judging on how they've adapted, how they've adjusted. Some of these players we have gotten to see some decent time, whether it's in Europa, whether it was in cup games. We've actually gotten to see some of these players, how they adjust and adapt to the pressure, how they adjust and adapt to the club or to their teammates. Somewhat going on that more so, because obviously, we don't have a huge sample size to go with when it comes to how they've gauged themselves against other Prem competition. But yeah, if not so, I'm going to put like, as in, I would like to see Kumas be something of a player for us. I would say probably, I think he does have the possibility of possibly being in the Prem, staying in the Prem. I don't necessarily, he could be like I'm thinking of who's like a good comparison for the player, because I wouldn't go as far as to say like again Brewster or something like that, but he's Bernard says he's in between lower Prem League and Champions League. He can't make up his mind. I'm gonna put him as
Championship.
Or did I say champ? What did I say? Premier League or Championship? Yeah.
Championship. Yeah.
Um,
I might
yeah,
even say his potential still loading.
yeah, I think that's a safer bet. That's a safer bet. Yeah, since
Yeah,
people are kind of like up in the air about him.
yeah.
Um,
Because then they'll all be in that half. Yeah, so
yeah,
potential.
exactly. Yeah, a lot of them will all be in that
Uh,
category. We
yeah,
keep all of them in the, but I think his
potential still
potential
loading
still low.
is basically that question mark
It's like the
category.
question mark. Yeah. If we can't come up to a consensus, or there's not any of us that have like a real solid read on the player, we'll put him as a potential still loading. We won't put him
Like
as a journeyman. And let me say this: journeyman is not it's not a slight. It's not, even though it's at the bottom of the list here. It's not me saying that, hey, any person that gets the opportunity to play in any league, any level, hey, you are definitely living a dream that some of us would all love to be on. You know. So let's not. I don't want to make sure. I want to make sure that that's noted. But let's move on then. Let's move on. Let's go.
yeah,
Let's move on to. Let's move to. I had Trey Neone as on this list here. I know he scored a dramatic late winner for the club U18. So he's done. He's also he's made an appearance for the U21s despite being so young. He's like 16 years old, I think, right? Or no,
oh
he's
yeah,
wait, he's
he's
so
one of the
young.
younger ones. He's one of the younger ones. Yeah.
Yeah, still
And
so young.
Revenite is right. It's natural instinct to not want to judge young players, so you go safe. So I try and be more risky, but it's natural instinct. Like, I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, superstar, superstar, superstar.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
You know,
mm-hmm.
it's hard to say anything to go too far about it, because it really is like. But
I
we'll
got
try.
you.
We'll try.
We'll
We'll try.
try. This is just yeah. We're
Yeah.
just we're doing our best to do our If we got asked by FIFA or what is it, EA Sports or whatever, EA something, whatever, EA 24, and then, or like if you got asked by Football Manager or something like that, that's the where do you think his ceiling is going to be, that kind of thing. What kind of player do you think this player is going to be? That's all we're doing. I know a lot of fans do get carried away with a lot of these young players. They do. Trey Neone is an interesting player. I mean, again, I'm going to put him into that potential still loading, I guess. I don't want to put too many players in this potential still loading, but he's 16 years old. It's very difficult. But if anything, he's got a humongous upside considering he's 16 and playing at this level. You know what I mean? Like it'd be like Revenite's saying he'll be risky and say that he'll be a squad player. Yeah, I mean, it's incredible that he's even at this level, for us, for me at least, I would say that as well, Revenite. And he could be a squad player eventually, and he's only 16 years old, so 17, 18, 19, to get him into that rotation would be great. I don't necessarily see him starting in any attribute anytime soon, but yeah, I'll just put potential still loading for him. Just to be honest, development and who develops them is very crucial. That is very true, Dustin. That is very true.
The only thing I'll say on him is, look, that age, it's basically, you may as well go to a tarot card reader, because the amount of factors and variables that are involved from now, it's just insane. So, but we have to try and say, well, if this goes right, but we did go to Leicester and pay a fee for that kid. We went and put money down. It wasn't we made a concerted effort to get him. So obviously he is extremely highly rated. To go out and actually pay a fee for a kid that young. So that was the one thing that I kind of did take note of him. Was that okay? Right. Well, they obviously look, they have 5 million quid, I think, or something like that. For a young player. So that was the one that stuck out with me on him, was that well, there's obviously some very good scouting reports after coming in here, you know.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. How about, you know what we could do is I have an idea. I have an idea. This is like as in so that we don't end up having to put all these players in the actual like potential loading concept. I'm going to put it down like this. I'm going to do like this. The number one would be the most likely to be a superstar, and we're going to rank them that way. How about that? That's the easiest way to do it. That way, we don't have to call out to say, oh, he's going to be a star, he's going to be this, going to be that. Out of all these players I'm going to put out there, where do you rank them in a tier or in the top 5 or a top 10? We could do, you know, top 10 potential of being a superstar. How about that? Is that easier? That way we can kind of, you know, that makes a little bit more sense. You know, we could kind of just say, hey, you know, you don't have to necessarily do the crystal ball thing, you know. So I want to make sure that everyone, because I don't want to make sure everyone's comfortable because I don't, you know, I know people are going to be a little bit hesitant to say, oh yeah, he's going to be a journeyman, or he's going to be this, or he's going to be that. You don't want to put those labels on these young men. So I got you.
Changing the tier, mid-tier, midstream. You know, you don't get that on every channel.
You don't get that every channel.
You don't get that on every channel.
But you want to make it best. Yeah, exactly. I know, but I want to make the best for that everyone can understand. So there's going to be a bunch of names, and we can kind of like we can bump them down or up or whatever. But we'll just place them in the top 10 slots here. Yeah. Okay. So with that said, let's just do this quickly over again. Where would you put Kumas in this list? What do you think is where would he be at? Would he be like the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th?
7.
7 for Kumas.
Superstar 7. Yeah. The only
and we can always bump these players up or down or something like that. So that way
it's fine.
Yeah, it's on the road to being a superstar. This is basically what we're trying to figure out here.
Yeah, I'd have Neoni at 8.
Neoni at 8. Does that sound good for you guys?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll put it back in gear here. All right, we're in gear. All right, we're in gear. All right.
We're an hour in, and we're officially starting the tier again.
Again. Yes, exactly. So, all right, let's do this again. All right, let's move on to James McConnell. Where on this list would you have James McConnell on getting closer, or how close would he be getting to the actual superstar status? McConnell's played in some games for us this year. Came off the bench.
He was trusted early.
Very early. Yes. I started in the FA Cup 4th round win over Norwich. Got an assist actually in that game, setting up Curtis Jones for the opening goal. He ended up playing 79 minutes as Liverpool's deepest midfielder, and he was ranking 3rd on the pitch for total touches in that game, and also competing in an impressive 88.9% of his completing, an 88.9% of his passing in that game as well. In the PL2 season, he's averaging about 4.5 tackles per 90, and has played at least 500 minutes. I think McConnell's got some.
Sorry, yeah, I think his potential to be superstar is not much higher than Dan's or Kumas.
Yeah, I would say McConnell's probably like at
8 for me.
Now, I'm gonna. Oh, you put him at 8. If he's at 8, I'm gonna bump these guys down 1 here. I put him at 7. I will put him at 7.
Put him at 7.
Okay. Yeah. Put him at 7. All right. I think it's gonna work out better this way. That way we don't have to go. We don't have to like put labels on people per se. Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah. All right. Now this is a good one. Jayden Danns. As we talked about, a lot of these players have famous dads. Jayden Danns is another guy that has a dad that was a former player. Neil Dans.
Yeah. We need numbers in the chat, Dustin. We need numbers. We're not going.
Yeah.
We've gone from. We're going straight numbers now. So
we're just going straight numbers. It's easier. Yeah, and that way it'd be easier for the chat too. You don't have to write the whole words or anything like that. Just as in like where you'd rank him on potential of being a superstar in this list. Jaden Dan's has got to be up there. He's got to be.
We're not saying sorry. We're not saying just sorry. We're not just saying put in a number. Like obviously, like chat. You know, whatever your opinions are is cool, but also put in a number.
Yeah.
You know, also just so it make it easier for 12 man there to.
Yeah, we're gonna make it. It's basically we're making like a top 10 list of players on
we can. Or sorry, no to Rev Knight, no and yes.
Right.
To your two questions, no, we don't have to have a player in every category, and we can finish without a number one. Yeah, we can.
Yeah. If we don't think anyone's gonna be a superstar, then we don't have anyone a superstar.
So we're on Dan's. Yeah, Dan's. Look, yeah, he's one I can talk a little bit more because I've actually seen the guy, right? And like we say, you know, judgment, what you judge on this and what you shouldn't, but like sometimes little things. Okay, he might just be the only thing, but that first time finish, his first goal, that dink over the keeper was just so like exactly what you want to see from a player who's in that position, and it was like just first time. You know, he really, really stood out. So he looked like a striker straight away, and then he scores a different type of goal, and so oh well, hang on a minute. You know, he really, really did stand out. So I'd be putting him up pretty high.
Yeah, I have him. I agree with Rev Knight has him at 3. I think a 3 is a good shout.
I would have said 4. So if he's got 2,
we can bump him down. Yeah, there might be. If we come to a 3, if we figure out someone else that's at 3, we'll bump him down to 4. But like, I'm thinking 3.
Yeah, we can have more than one in each, can't we?
Oh, you want to do more than one? Okay.
Oh,
I was going to do this 10.
Okay. Oh, yeah, cool. Okay, I thought we.
So that way, that's So like, you can slowly but surely get like bumped off the list if other players.
Oh, okay, right. Most okay, right, yeah. Okay, right. Who's? There doesn't seem to be any more numbers. Who's next?
Oh, who's 6?
Who's next?
No one's at 6. So I have
No, who's next?
So I have McConnell at 7.
No.
We have Kumas at 8.
Hello.
And then we have who's next on the list?
Next.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay, so then we've moved off of Dan's, and then we can move on to. Let's move on to. We already did Kumas. Let's do Luke Chambers.
Oh, right. Okay. I don't know a lot about him, to be honest.
Yeah, I know. That one's a tough one.
He's the left back, right? He's the left back, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's the one K-Mac was asking for specifically.
I don't know what. Help me out here. I don't have how good. Is he? What do we think?
Yeah.
What do people think on this guy?
Luke's got potential, but I don't know if he's more. I don't know if his potential is higher than. It's not higher than McConnell's. I don't think. It might be. I might put him at 10, the 10 spot. He's got potential. I'm not saying. I mean, all these players have potential, but yeah, I don't. I would say I'm going to put him at the 10 spot because I think he has potential. I think that Trey Neone has a little bit more potential than him for me. That's not saying anything against him, but I'll make sure. Yeah, he's on par with Kumas. Oh wow, he's on 8. Okay, if he's at 8 for a Revenite, anybody else have a rating for him? Then I would think maybe if you put him at 8, that would make Trey go here, and that would make Kumas go here. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with it being an 8. You still there? You still there, Brian?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, just making sure. Just make sure. I know you're checking your mic. Okay, so let's go with Owen Beck. Let's go with Owen Beck. Owen Beck's been tearing it up, in the other leagues. This is all just from reports. I've been watching him in the other leagues. I know that I think he just got an injury, correct?
Yeah.
I think he just got an injury. Yeah.
I think he's coming back.
Yeah, but he has been playing well out on loan.
Yeah. You see, I'm stuck now because I thought we were going to be able to have more than one in each.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So we've only got how many spots left? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, Rasta is here.
Yeah. Yeah, big up Ross. The streets are calling. Yeah, so if you put him in at 7, then that bumps Neone off the list, basically.
Oh, we can bump people off the list. You see, this is this is happening in real time, folks. You don't get this.
Yeah, this is real time. I know.
You just don't get this anywhere else. Let me see.
Cutthroat. Yeah, so you can.
Owen Beck.
There's all placements, but they're almost like slots. Like you put.
Could we also say if we wanted to put someone in but not bump one of the other guys, actually replace the guy directly and bump that guy as opposed, because Owen Beck, I think he's really kind of highly rated, I think, isn't he? So I put him in above. I'd probably bump Neone off the list at this stage. Yeah, might be a bit too soon for him. I don't know, but I'd have to put Beck on there somewhere. Yeah, because he is very highly rated. I know that much.
He is.
They all are. Hey, look, he's highly rated.
All are highly
that's
rated.
Why they're on this. Yeah,
this is not. Yeah, this is just because they get bumped off the list doesn't mean that they're not good players or or something on those lines. It has nothing to do with that. It's just we're just trying to gauge like who's most likely to become a superstar. If we
can get a list, and then we can mess with it.
Yeah, we can always. Yeah, we can do some substitutes in here or there.
Yeah. So we're putting
Beck in. Owen in at 7. That means that
Neone goes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a Connor Bradley in there rather than Connor, actually.
Yeah, see, I'm with you, Crab. Most of these guys, I'm really, I don't know. So,
well, this is one way. This is one way to introduce yourself to them, I guess, right?
No, and I've said it from the start. This is not my wheelhouse. The young kids,
right.
But we're trying.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. Yeah, but how about this?
For any lawyers,
how about a name that we've all heard? Then, all right.
Yeah.
I know it's difficult, but I have faith in the chat. I have faith in Brian as well, the Irishman. How about we go with Bobby Clark? We'll go with Bobby Clark. I think Bobby Clark's got real potential. I think Bobby Clark has definitely blossomed into a real notable name on the sheet list that's getting call ups to play. I'd say Bobby has. I think Bobby has maybe. I think he would bump. I think he would bump him down. I think I would put him at 3, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Rossum has him at 3.
You go with that?
Dustin has him at 3. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's not.
Go with that.
Ross is saying not until in the first team, don't rate them. Well, then we wouldn't be doing the show. We've kind of decided that we're going to and try and rate them for their potential. Yeah, like I was going to say, anyone that's played too much in the first team can't be included. So we're just trying to get what would potentially. It's all guesswork, and but just which of these do we think in 5 years'
in your
time?
mind? Which in your mind do you think? Yeah, which in your mind do you think has superstar potential in them? Like, as in, who Who would be, if they turned out to be a superstar, who would you be like, oh yeah, I could see that from when he got on the pitch that one time? I was like, this guy's just got it. He's just
But they could all be in 5 years' time. They could all be playing in League Two, so or they could all be playing the Champions League. So
yeah, so
we don't know.
Let's just have,
but I like Clark. I like Clark. He's a great passer of the ball. Really good passer of the ball.
Yeah, I do. I like Clark a lot. I think that he's got some real ability on him. Connor Bradley is obviously going to be in that top 5 for a lot of people. I know he's very high on the list for a lot of people.
Oh, you can't rate them. Yeah. Oh, Russ is saying he can't rate them. No, that's fair enough. Neither can I, man. I'm just trying to have a punt. We're relying a bit on people in the chat that have seen them as well.
Yeah.
To throw in,
or maybe sometimes it could be like you saw him play against one of the cup games, or you saw him play in a Europa game, and you're like, wow, there's something special about that player. That's all we're saying. Something special. Something made you go, oh wow, I'm excited to see this player get another opportunity to play. I'm excited to see what this guy's like. I'm excited about the future with this player in our team. That's all. We're excited about all these players like that, but I'm just saying to the level of where you're saying like that guy could be a superstar. That guy's got something special in him.
CNC Music Factory.
CNC Music Factory, yes, exactly. Yeah.
If you know, you know.
If you know for sure. I'm gonna put Connor at the 2 mark, at the number two spot. I am looking forward to Neone. I mean, the fact that he's 16 makes a big difference.
Oh, Connor went straight to 2 there. Okay.
Yeah, I brought him straight to 2. I think Connor's shown. I mean, Connor, unlike some of these players, Connor has given you a decent sample size of his abilities and what you can somewhat start to gauge some actual perspective on what he might have to offer come as he grows even more so into his role, into his position. I have Gordon up next. Kai Gordon. Kai Gordon was an interesting player because Gordon was someone that was slated to be that guy. I mean, he was a 19-year-old wide attacker, obviously from Derby County. We brought him in 2021, so he's been here for over 3 years now.
Yes.
Brought him in for $1 million pounds, excuse me. So what we brought him in for.
No, 3.4.
Oh, 3.4. Okay.
3.4. Yeah, he cost proper money.
Okay.
He was like Neone. We actually put, like, for a kid that age, that was big wedge. Like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was another one that I remember. Like, it's like we really do rate. We rate this guy, obviously. Yep. And everyone rates those young wingers. When they're young, skillful players always look the most standout.
Right. Yeah.
So when you bring one in, but he's been here a while, and I've very, very rarely seen the kid play.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Look,
I know.
Salah has his position. So
it's tough.
He was never going to get a ton of games, even as a kid.
Yeah. He never really was. As soon as it's like, not as soon, but I mean, like, Mo Salah was already lighting up the leagues, the way he was. It was more so like the only hope of him ever seeing that right wing was in a cup game or in a game that we were playing the youth players or something like that, where a lot of the cases. And then when he got, in the EFL Cup tie against Norwich in September, and then in January, he became the second youngest goal scorer. He became the second youngest goal scorer in the club's history with the FA Cup third round goal against Shrewsbury. And that was in 2022, obviously, not this year, but in 2022. He's made a bunch, but he's been out for 18 months. That has definitely hurt his trajectory. I would say It's interesting because I mean, at one time he would have been
The jury
possibly
is out, my
number two.
friend.
Yeah,
The jury is still
I'm
out
gonna
on young Mr. Cade
on him.
Gordon.
Yeah, I'm gonna unfortunately have to put him at the 5 spot. I know Dustin had him at the 3, but I would have to put Reverend Knight has him at the 6. I'm gonna put him at the 5 spot for now. He can go up, he can go down. We can put him in there. I think that this would be probably where I would put him in, as in likelihood. Another player that's injured currently, but we had high hopes on, like really getting some quality time this year, actually, you know. And okay, it was 2 votes for 6. Okay, that's cool. But Ben Doak, man, Ben Doak. I was so gutted to see him get that injury. I mean, you're heartbroken when when you see any of these players get these injuries. These youth guys, it's difficult. They're going to bounce back. Or hopefully going to bounce back. They're going to have the opportunity to have the opportunity to recover to get to that level once again. But some of these players, we just spoke about Cade Gordon having 18 months of a layoff. It's difficult to get that spot really rocking and rolling. But for Ben Doak, there was a lot of promise, a lot of hope. Ben Doak's a 5 for Revenite. Doak is the player, roster crab. He has him at the 4 spot. Dustin has him at the 1. Okay. What would you have Ben Doak at, Brian?
I'd probably be going there with the boys, the 4 to 5.
4 to 5?
Yeah, I'd probably. Oh, that's a hard one, because it's clear that when a guy, like, it's hard to say that, like, when these guys like Cade Gordon, when they are skillful wingers, attacking players, if they do turn out to be good, then they're top players, like they're difference maker type players. So, like, if they do turn out to be, like, basically what I'm trying to say is, like, if Ben Doak turns out to be brilliant and James McConnell turns out to be brilliant, Doak will be a bigger star, because he'll be a goal scorer or whatever. So he was the original Cade Gordon or the other Cade Gordon right wingers. It's hard to know. I'd put him up in the 4.
That was the
5,
thing about it for me. That was the thing about for me was that once Gordon got the injury that he got, he was he was sidelined trying to get his recovery and go through get his health back. Ben Doak became that guy, became that potential guy for us. But yeah, it's unfortunate he got the injury. But I think he still got a lot of potential in him, and he had little bits where he was given the opportunity to show it, but unfortunately, he just didn't super shine so bright that you made him say, "Oh wow, he's a bona fide superstar." Revenite says, "You know what? You know who Doak reminds him of? He reminds him of Doku. Loves to beat a man, but doesn't have the end product yet. But he could develop that." It's a good shout. Dustin says, he's seen things in Doak that he saw in Owen. Wow, that's high praise. That's very high praise. Great. Let's move on to the Polish Messi. I know a lot of people have been really, really super high on the Polish Messi. Originally, don't know if it's going to pan out for him.
Musialowski.
I mean,
Mr. Musialowski, please stand up.
Yes. Please stand up.
For your 500.
There's only one Messi. Yes,
audition.
I got you, Ross. Dustin has him at 3. Okay.
3.
Okay.
Holy Lord. Holy.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
Holy.
5 for Revenite. It's interesting because it's one of those things where, like, if this guy had as much potential in playing and ability as he had before,
another 5. Wow.
Why have all these other players gotten starts before he's gotten starts? we've gone. All these players that we've mentioned so far have all gotten starts with the senior team. All of them. And yet, like, Musiala, I think that was his first cap with the senior squad, right? And it was like
his first appearance.
His first appearance. Yeah, his first appearance. I mean, yes.
It's at least 5 years now. He's here 4 or 5 years at least. You know, for me, he doesn't even make. He doesn't even bump someone off 10th. Because for me, there's no chance of him, mate. Because
I don't see him being a superstar.
No, it's just, well, obviously not super. You know, even superstar, but like, you know. This, like, I remember there was a kid called Freundorf, German striker we had, and we had Musialewski and we had Freundorf, and they were supposed to be brilliant. And then they got a game in preseason, and I saw that game, and that's definitely 4 years ago. That is easily 4 years ago, and the kid is still here. It's just not going to happen, mate. It's just not going to happen for you. You know, you've been here all that time. I heard it said basically that he was the best player in his age group right up until the penultimate age group. So when he went from the under 18s, finally went up to the under 20s, because I know now they've under 20s and under 21s and under 23s. But whenever he went up to the senior group below the first team, he couldn't handle it. He couldn't make the step up. He'd hit his level, and he was nowhere near the same player up against bigger opponents in a better game. That's what I heard, and that's years ago. That shows you how long this guy's around, failing to get into the team. So whatever the reasons behind it are, it's just not happening. You know,
yeah, you know what's too about, like, from what everyone's saying in the chat too. He said Remnight started off by saying he was injured and his contract was coming up, and his parents were not happy with his game time, so he thinks that stopped his gaming time. But then Remnight went on to go and say that he thinks that Klopp didn't like that kind of attitude that he was bringing to the front, or that presentation from his parents and from him and his own attitude. So he decided not to try him out until it was absolutely necessary. And Rostercraft goes on to say he had a lot of issues with his parents in the club. Look, I know what it's like. For the U.S. men's national team, we've had some issues with Gio Reyna, and his dad, who also played for the U.S. men's national team, played professionally and is a U.S. men's national team certainly icon.
Claudio Reyna, he played in England.
Legend.
Yeah. Claudio Reyna, he played for Sunderland.
Yeah, sure. I was just talking about U.S. men's national team.
Yeah, he was a great player. No, Claudio Reyna, he was a really good player. Gio was even better.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. Yeah, but it was in America here. We had Berhalter had a problem with Claudio, and his parents were basically leaking stuff to the papers, leaking things to the papers about the inner fightings of, like, that Reyna. He wanted Reyna to have more minutes, and he was making it very vocal about it and everything else. It got really ugly to the point where, like, Reyna wasn't going to be involved with the club possibly. And, like, he's one of our best players on the team, you know. But
shots
Berhalter
fired.
Shots
fired in the chat. From the north as well, coming from the north.
Rustic Crab wants to. Oh man, Rustic Crab wants to go on a timeout.
Incoming from the north, man. You never expect that.
I did not expect that from the Canadians.
They're supposed to be all friendly and no.
No, that's all good. You have that's why your flag has a maple leaf on it. But anyway, I'll joke. I'll play around. Big up to my Canucks up there. It was one of those situations. That's the only reason I was bringing it up, is because it was a very similar situation. It sounded like.
He said Canucks, by the way, just in case. He said Canucks.
Canucks, yes.
Yeah, just in case anyone is wondering. I was half wondering for a second where you were going.
You half wondering yourself.
Yeah. No, but look, that to me just sound like, if you said to me, Brian, I'll give you two choices. Why do you think Musialowski has never made the first team breakthrough at Liverpool, or played for Jurgen Klopp? Is it A, because he's not good enough, or B, because his parents are dicks? I'm going to go with the not good enough bit 9 times out of 10. Maybe his parents are dicks, but I also think that's a good excuse for why he's not starting. And you get a lot of that. Like, Kylian Mbappe's mother is his agent, not just his mother. Like, he's his mum and his agent. So try dealing with that. Like, it might be a little bit of both, but I think if you're good enough, he would have played, and we would have sorted out any problems. Like, he came on recently. I was shocked that he came on. Do you remember he came on really recently in a game?
Exactly. That's why I was. I was very shocked. I mean, it was as a very, it was,
didn't touch the ball
in what people sometimes call garbage minutes or something like that. But I mean, still, like, it's still an opportunity to say you played in the game for the senior club, which some people never do. So.
I just
look, maybe, and it was at Anfield that he got to play. It was in the Sparta game. Yeah, it was. I just don't. I don't.
Not everyone is good enough to play for Liverpool.
Yeah,
that's just the harsh reality.
Yeah. We haven't really seen Marcelo play. I'm not going to rate him because I haven't really seen him play.
No.
How about for Tyler Morton?
Oh yeah, he's got a chance.
He's a good player. Yeah, he's got a chance.
He definitely has a chance. He's got to go above. He's gone above a few people there. I'd have him
3 for Rasta. Okay. I think Tyler Morton's got that promise.
4 or 5. 4 or 5. Yeah. Who's in 3 there? No.
Okay, I'm moving
above McConnell. I put him above McConnell. So yeah.
What do you mean? That's Connor Bradley. Actually, McConnell's at 8.
Oh, sorry. No, is that not Bradley at 2? Who's at 3?
Bradley's at 2. Clark's at 3.
Oh, I put him above Clark.
4. Dan's at 4. Doak at 5. Gordon at 6.
I'd put him up.
Problem with Morton is that we have Shetik. Yeah, I know. Trust me on that. Yeah, Rostic.
I put him in 3rd, maybe. 3. I put him 3 or 4. So whatever. I'll say 3, and then whatever.
3. I mean, a lot of people have him at 3. Revernight has him. Revernight has actually Bobby Clark at 3.
3.
Yes, 5, 3. Yeah.
So
off topic. I'm gonna put him at.
Do that after. Do that DS question after.
Yeah. No worries. I'll start it. I'll start Redbird. We're definitely gonna come to it. I would put close. Bobby Clark at 4. Let's move him at 4.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. Morton is at Hull now. He's going to Harvey Elliott route. He's getting proper experience in the Championship, playing every week in a really good Hull team, in a really down to earth city.
Yeah.
In a really good environment, way up north. Not just getting on with his football, living with his family not too far away. Doing what Harvey did, go to Blackburn, learn to play in midfield in the men's game. No better proving ground than the Championship. So I think he is clearly one, with a lot of ability and a lot of potential, but that's just a hell of a list, yeah, where you got to get him in there up the 3 or the 4, that end of it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say I have some notes. I think I have notes on Morton. Possibly not. Yeah. Okay. So I'll put him at the 4 spot. Give me 1 second to make sure I have the right picture for him. How about for Fabio? Fabio Carvalho.
Fabio.
Yes. How about for Fabio?
I don't know, man. I know I'm not. Yeah, well, Crab. The clues in the name, in many names. How do we get it up? How do we get Carvalho in there? I don't think for us, right? I don't see it happening for us, but he has certainly got all the ability, man. Christ, yeah.
He does.
2.
Fabio's got some real talent.
2.
You're gonna put him at the 2 spot. So would you say he's got more potential of reaching superstar than Connor?
Just about, I'd say. Just if we're talking superstar, we have to put him in. I mean, I can't put him down.
We're going to put him in somewhere in this list. Certainly,
It's just he goes above everybody else.
Yeah, so, I mean, everyone's seen him play. Everyone's seen him play. Everyone knows kind of like some have seen him at Fulham. Some are watching him still at Hull.
But see, I'd be putting him in with, if we could put 2 in a category, they'd both be in 2.
Right.
But I can't put Fabio in 3. Because so if they could both go in 2, I'd have Bradley in there as well. But
that's not how we're playing the game.
So he's got to go in there. So for me anyway, I'll be putting Fabio up into 2.
Philip had him at 8. That's interesting.
But it's like I say, I don't see it happening for Liverpool. I see him going on and doing it.
You never know. I mean, it all depends on what coach comes in. Maybe a coach comes in and he really wants to utilize his talents, or he was a big Fabio fan long before, or something like that. Who knows? But
I don't know, Crab. I don't know. Like, I'm going full crystal ball on it. I think maybe it just hasn't. He came in and didn't work out. He's gone away on loan. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm just, like we're saying, pure crystal ball. But if I was guessing, if I'm guessing, I'm just guessing. I'd say, like, we're guessing 5 years time. I wouldn't be surprised if he's doing it. Like, I see him playing abroad is more the thing. I see him thriving abroad, but he went away and he didn't do brilliant. So he's a bit of a curate's egg, that guy. You need someone to really want to play him and to get the best out of him.
To be honest with you, I want to see him bulk up and be more like, I want to see him like, he could do what Doak did, which is like get big, despite being not the tallest or biggest guy, just bulk up so that he can possibly take on, the role of being, if he's going to be pushed out into that wing role, then, being able to handle the wing role, or more so if he wants to play that 10 role, being able to handle the midfield and be able to, like, engineer that, advanced cam spot. Attitude issues is the only thing he's got to work out. Yeah, he's got to work out some attitude issues.
Well, allegedly, that's a thing.
Yeah. All right, let's go to who else do we have left on this list here? Let me double check to see who these who have left on the list. So small. I don't know I can't see the head of that one player. Let's move on to then, let's see. Let's move on to, do you want to do Connor Ramsey? Connor's got some real potential, man.
Calvin Ramsey.
I said Calvin Ramsey. Excuse me.
Oh
Calvin,
yeah.
I'm mixing. I was just talking about Connor. That's why my fault.
Yeah. Right backs.
Calvin Ramsey.
I don't know. I don't mind.
Calvin Ramsey, I would say he's definitely from what I know from his locker and everything. Because I did, when he was coming to the team, I did watch a lot of tape on him before from his previous, as much as I could at least, because I'd heard so much. I watched I remember Kopish did some brought in a guy that kind of was watched his former club that he played for and everything, and how he gave this he was kind of sad to see him go, actually, because he knows that the guy has a lot of potential. He's got a lot of potential on his plate, but Ramsey's going to get sold because of the emergence of Connor. I know, and that is one thing. That is kind of crazy because
that's football.
He was slated as being, it's part of football. I get that, but I mean,
football, I mean, for Calvin, you never know. You think you're going to be the next.
I mean,
thing, you're going to be the heir apparent potentially to Trent. You get an injury at the wrong time, you get a loan, and while you're out on loan, this kid called Connor Bradley comes in, and he's the talk of the town. I mean, that is football. That's life. That's football. But that's a hell of a kick in the balls for the young kid coming down.
Yeah,
especially thinking But you're also getting taken over. Yeah, you're getting taken over by someone in the same age and all of that. But that's how it can work sometimes. Yeah. But again, we keep saying, and Ross is with all of this, it is a clean slate for everybody when the new manager comes in.
Yeah.
It is a clean slate.
Absolutely.
So we can't be too firm in what we think. If Klopp was here, we say, he's, obviously Carvalho won't play for Klopp again, or, such and such won't play for Klopp again.
Right.
But
I mean, that's the thing I was thinking. Brian, the thing I was thinking is exactly what Dustin just said, too, is that if Trent were to make that transition to midfield, it would be a nice option to have if we had Connor and Ramsey now.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Competing for that role. So I don't know. I don't necessarily know if there's a guarantee that he's going to be sold. I don't believe it's a guarantee because there's no real rush on him having to be sold or making a decision or not. I think that they're probably going to give him a good run to see if he can get some actual. They'll give him a good chance to kind of come back from the injuries that he's going through and everything else. Phillips says he put Fido so low as he doesn't think he suits our style, but if our new manager changes our style, it could change for him too. Yeah, absolutely, Philip. So where did you want to put Ramsey at? Do you think Ramsey's above?
I'd say
I don't know if Ramsey gets above any of these players currently, to be honest with you.
No, that's my way out too. I'm not going to rank him. I'll put him down to 10.
Yeah. Okay. I would say let's go to oops, I put in Seth. Let's go. Even though he doesn't want to, he doesn't think he has a future here, I'm still going to ask you, Sepp, how you guys feel about Sepp. Sepp Van Berg is a player that's doing well in the Bundesliga currently, has definitely shown some real true promise. It was definitely not in the cards. It looked like he was more likely on the way out. I think that possibly.
Where is he? Where is he? Is it Stuttgart?
Yes.
Is it Stuttgart? Yep. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I can pull up some of his stats for you.
No, Revenant is saying it's Mainz. Revenant is saying Mainz. Is it Mainz? Or
I think it might be. I think it might be. I think it
no,
might
they're
be
saying it's
as
not
well.
Mainz. They're saying it Mainz. Yeah, Klopp's old gig.
Yeah, it is. You're right. You're right. Because he is at Mainz. Yep. Currently,
he's not. Like I said to you, he'd be on the 10 for me. It's not going to happen for him. He's
he
with
even
the
plays. He
boys.
plays right back too. Yeah.
Yeah, versatile.
He's
Big guy. Big. I mean, he's a big guy. I mean,
yeah.
It's like remember when
meters.
Yeah, when Vertonghen, you see like Vertonghen or Dan Burn playing at left back. He's one of those guys. It's like, yeah, I think that's his. Yeah, somewhere around that, I reckon, is his level for the moment. Anyway, play 3 or 4 years every week in the Bundesliga for a lower
league Bundesliga style team.
Yeah. Where are Mainz? Are they doing okay in the? Are they doing okay in the Bundesliga? Someone Revna will tell us how Mainz are
played
going
for Schalke
in the Bundesliga 1.
Was on loan to
I knew he was at Schalke.
And then
I knew he was at Schalke. Right,
yeah, he was at Schalke, and he was also at the team you like. You like this team, Preston North End. You like that team?
Do I? That must be
Preston North End.
Guy.
I thought you speak on them a lot.
No.
I know you're not necessarily like you follow them, but I mean, I thought you know. Okay.
No, I know. It was a Kumas played for them. They've been up and down. Mainz are 16th.
Above regulation right now. Yeah, they've been up in the season. They have been. Too much water under the bridge for Sepp. Does he get rated higher than any of these other guys on this list so far? Even though he is doing well at
Rasta came in 11. Rasta's coming in with an 11.
Yeah, I saw it.
And I'm on a 10, so I don't think he's getting any higher, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I guess not. I guess not. Oh, another player on my list.
What a summer that was, though. What a summer that was. What a transfer window. We won the European Cup and we go out and we buy Sepp and Adrian. What a window.
What a window is for sure. Do you want to Stewart? I don't know. I don't know too much about Stewart, to be honest with you. I haven't seen him too much.
Don't know anything about him.
Played for us.
Yeah. Don't know anything about him.
I'm gonna keep him down.
We brought in Elliot,
I'm gonna rate him.
Gordon. Well, now Dustin. We got Elliot, Gordon and Clark. Well, come on now. Players that we bought for the first team, Gordon and Clark. No. we brought in 2 players that were supposed to be for the first team, never play in the first team.
Right.
Oh, that talk about bursting. Yeah, sorry, Crab, I will stop. But talk about bursting the bubble. We've won the Champions League. What are we gonna? We'll go out. We'll get this guy. We'll get that guy. We'll be unbeatable next season.
He's ready. You're bringing back people's nightmares, Brian. Rasta said. Let's see. I have
don't think he was 16, man. Sepp van den Berg was definitely not 16 when we bought him.
I have this guy right here. Oh, you're trying to say he had a little bit of a passport or a birth certificate thing going on or something?
No, Dustin was saying Sepp was 16 when we bought him. I don't think he was. I don't think he was 16.
Oh, I can tell you how old. I can tell you. I just had that thing open. He was. What's that?
No, go on. What age was he?
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. So Sepp is 22 technically. So okay, we can push him back. Actually, he doesn't even fall into the 21. He just turned 22, and I guess he could still qualify. He
So
turned
how old was he
22
when we
in
bought him?
December.
So how old was he when we bought him?
Okay, when we bought him, he was 18.
Yeah, 18. Yeah, he was. I
We
knew he
bought him
wasn't
in.
16 when we bought him. Yeah,
He
that's
was
cool. That's all I need
18.
to know. Yeah.
Well, you know why? Because he's thinking. Well, he was playing professionally, technically at age 16. He's playing for PEC Zwolle, but he's playing for.
Yeah.
It wasn't even professional. It was under 19s.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, and then.
Yeah, but I just know he wasn't
see.
16 when he came to the club. I knew that much. I knew he's a young player,
Right.
but I knew he wasn't that young.
We bought him in 2000. We brought him April 8th, 2020 for 1.8 million euros at the age of 18. So
Yeah, see, he moved for a fee. He moved for a fee that wasn't a tribunal fee, so he would have had to been over 18 when we bought him. It wasn't a tribunal fee; it was an actual transfer fee to Zwolle. Was it Zwolle?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
We bought him from Zwolle. Was that the name of the club we got from? Zwolle or something.
The ZW.
Yeah, that's Zwolle. Yeah, that's Zwolle.
Yeah,
the PZ. Yeah, Zwolle.
That club. But...
Yeah, tiny little club. Anyway.
Yeah, PEC Zwolle. Yeah. Oh, it's bigger. So then, all right. So yes.
Yeah, but Dustin, this is what I'm saying. They're tribunal fees. They're tribunal fees. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I knew that he was. That was just a straight transfer. Harvey was a tribunal. These are all tribunal fees. When they move for underage, but you have to compensate a club. Like it's the same. We paid for Neoni. We paid for K. Gordon. But they're tribunal fees. Sepp was he was old enough to just be a straight transfer. Was what I was saying. No, I wasn't. It's just like that's how I knew he wasn't 16 because I knew it wasn't a tribunal fee. If you know what I mean. That's why in my head, I knew he cost 1.8 million. Yeah, and I knew it wasn't a tribunal, so I knew he must have been over 18 when he signed for us. So,
right. All right. I think it's kind of safe to say that I think all of us probably would have. This is at least I take that the most sure, I'm gonna say sure, but the most likely or potential superstar amongst this group, I think truthfully is Kwanzaa, to be honest with you. I have Kwanzaa rated very highly. Obviously, he's such a well-tempered player that it stopped our pursuit of Caldwell. It stopped us going into the market for a center back. It's gotten to the point where sometimes people talk about this young man and they don't reference him as a youth academy player at all. They don't even they almost think of him as being a tenured veteran player. You know, even the youth academy players amongst the group look at him as having. I saw the interview where they're all talking and they're saying, like, you know, out of the group, who has the biggest chance of being able to go over to the radio, to the stereo and like changing the channel or changing the music up, you know, and they all pointed to Kwanzaa, you know, as in being that guy, you know. I think Kwanzaa it's safe to say that he's probably the most potential superstar in the making that we have. Yeah, Revenite has Kwanzaa at 1 for sure. VVQ, he's calling him. Philip has him at number 1 as well. Is that safe to say for you too, Brian?
You can't really argue with that, you know.
Yeah.
As much as young Connor, to me, look, you can't predict these things, but if they stay fit, stay healthy, and stay performing, even if they were to only ever be as good as they are right now, okay? Even just as good as they are right now, Bradley and Kwanzaa will have careers at the highest level. And by the highest level, I mean playing it, not winning trophies necessarily, But they will, even if they just, this is as good as they ever get, they will still be good enough to play for like a lot of Premier League clubs. If they improve, if they stay fit, stay healthy, stay on track and improve, the sky would be kind of the limit for upper reaches of the Premier League, upper reaches of any real league, especially a player like Bradley, and then you have a centre half like Kwanzaa. They stand out. The others, hey, look, you just don't know, but they have that little bit of kind of, that little bit of magic.
Yeah.
That little bit of stardust. Kwanzaa looks like the next, potentially, you can actually sit there and go, without being silly about it, it's like, no, this guy, he looks like the real deal. So we can actually talk about, well, how good could this guy become, in as much as you can basically predict what's going to happen tomorrow, let alone what's going to happen in 3 years' time.
Sure.
But like being, say, linear, but like someone like Bradley, like, because the way I'm looking at these is, it's this little thing I've just kind of hit on now in my own head, is that even if they were only ever got this good, they would still be good enough to play for a lot of teams. Where someone like a McConnell or a Clark, if they were a Cade Gordon, if this was their peak ability, maybe they wouldn't. Does that make sense? Because Kwanzaa is able to play for us right now, no questions asked. He's good enough to play for us right now. Our first team. He's done it on multiple occasions. So he's already kind of achieved that much. So like I said, if this was as good as he ever got, he could still be playing Premier League football in 10 years' time, 11 years' time. Same with Bradley.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a question here from Dustin that asked, does Konate come straight back in the team now, or is it not clear? I think it's a pretty still. I mean, Konate still has a solidified hold on that partnership role for him straight in. But look, Kwanzaa is making valiant strides towards, making that an actual question at some point, I would say. He could make it a question.
But let's not go too quickly with these guys as well. It's like we're talking about them now, but he's been great. Does he go straight in or something? Look, timing it right. Players will tell you that. Managers will tell you that. You got to time it right. You got to bring them in, bring them out. But the senior boys are there for a reason. Yeah. Not there on, they're there for a reason. Trent is there for a reason.
They're making those big salaries for a reason. They're not they're not just
is it Bradley or Trent?
Free cash,
is it Bradley
for no one. Right.
We spoke about it last night. If they're both fit, they're both firing. Trent starts. Bradley will go to the bench. That's absolutely. He's the Konate. Kwanzaa will be sitting on the bench, but he'll be sitting on the bench looking at clock going, really? Okay, cool. Man. But hey, he'd be looking at going, all right, nice choice, but okay. But I'm not saying he'd have the attitude on him, but Kwanzaa.
But we all know his attitude.
A dream for next manager. This is another thing that we could talk about after this is what a dream this is for next manager.
Absolutely. I mean, like, let's be honest. I'm looking at this list. It's not a bad way that we've compiled this list, I think, truthfully, because like it's not a knock on any of these players. It's just more so like who would you think of as having like a real potential of becoming a superstar if you're going to like have them in line.
I think people have kind of learned that a little bit on your shows, that it's never a knock on people. It's always
something positive.
This is always a positivity. It's just like, yes, it's you're making a list, but it's a list of qualities and list of good things.
Right. Yeah.
So we don't do slagging off. We don't put poor, we don't do worst Liverpool players and then bottom of the list. If you're bottom of any list on any of the ones that we do, and it's an all Liverpool list, it's like it's rarefied air. It's good company.
Yeah, most likely it is, certainly. Yeah. I mean, like, because if you're looking at this list, and I can make it a little bit bigger for you guys, in case.
It is a bit small on the big screen. It's
Yeah,
not
I know.
massive.
I
It is
saw
a
that. I
tiny bit
saw
small.
that. I'm gonna make it big. Like, I want to not make it where the ad to get involved though. Yeah. So we have Kwanzaa as the most potential possibly to become a superstar. We have Fab to become second on this list. We have Connor at third, Clark at fourth, Morton at fifth, Dan's at six, Doak at seven, Gordon at eight. And who? Wait, I'm trying. Let me make sure I have the right person in at nine. What's the breaking Revenite? What's the breaking news?
Put it in, man. Put it in.
Yeah, put it in. Put it in. Pause on that one.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay. If Lonzo isn't on the short list,
Any reason? Sorry, but any reasoning on it? Like because he's staying at Leverkusen, or because he's going to any other info on that?
See, is the Ancelotti just quit and he's going to Real Madrid or something? That's a good question.
I wouldn't be mad shocked if he stayed at Liverpool.
I'm not going to be. I'm not. I've actually tempered my way into thinking that he is going to stay. To be honest with you,
like you stay in Germany, well, that's not helpful, is it?
It's going to be, but that could be just I don't see. If he stays at Leverkusen, the one thing that's going to happen at Leverkusen is Bayern Munich's going to come and try to raid their team anyway, in one way or another. They'll try to raid their team or try to that's what they do. They just go against whoever is a competing force in the Bundesliga. Okay. They just end up taking their best players in one way or another, it seems like.
Well, look, that's they do it to bigger clubs than Leverkusen, so.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That is definitely.
So Leverkusen stand no chance. Yeah, it's not like they can even kind of hold out. Like Dortmund could hold out for a while. 2 Bundesligas, right. 2 Champions League finals, but even still, they were slowly picked apart.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think he'll stay at Leverkusen for a year, if I had to guess.
Okay.
But it will be difficult for him. I think, it might be. They'll have to be strong, yeah. And the players will have to be strong as well, because if they do get these offers from Bayern to maybe stay and do something next year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt. They'll have to be strong, definitely.
He can go after that. He can go after that.
Or have to really believe in the program.
Yeah.
And believe in that they're going to be made this they're going to be not selling their best pieces. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Revenite goes on to say, he says, Xabi Alonso, Liverpool look elsewhere. As coach set to stay in Germany, that's the title of the article linked to his tweet. Article written by him on the Times.
Who do you want? Revenite
is wonders if they moved on from Alonso to him, if the news is to be believed.
Who do you want, Revenite? If it isn't Alonso, who do you want? And other people in the chat, but who do you want? Let's just say Alonso is off the table now, which is bad news for a certain content creator, I know, but I'm not going to go any more into that. Amram is your first choice. Yeah, because I think after that, you're talking about people like De Zerbi, and I don't think that would be. I don't know why it wouldn't be. I'm fine to give anyone a go. Give him a chance, give him a shot. Yeah. But I saw I saw De Zerbi's name being mentioned in the chat, and I was kind of expecting, say, a neutral-ish response, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I was surprised at how negative the response was when De Zerbi's name was mentioned. It was like, F this guy, he's shit. It's like,
the
oh,
way to,
okay.
yeah.
It's
I just don't.
right.
I'm actually kind of, and again, this goes against how I've seen our fan base react to bringing in Nunez or bringing in some of these other players that they were very, or even when it was Endo, bringing in some of these players that they didn't really necessarily, because I don't know many people that watch the Portuguese league religiously. I'm not going to pretend to say that I know Amarin so well that I could tell you every last thing about him. Will I do my research and study up on him? Absolutely. But I can't say that I know. Before this, I was like tracking him or something like that. But it can be difficult. It's going to be difficult, and this is something that I was thinking in this out loud. I'll say this out loud. It doesn't matter. Could it be maybe that Alonso looks at the Liverpool job as having too heavy of a Klopp shadow to have to go and perform at? And I'm not saying that Alonso can't do it. I'm not saying that at all. But maybe he just doesn't want to take on that. Maybe he's just not up to taking that challenge. Because that's going to be a challenge for any coach. For any coach that tries to fill that position of taking on the role of manager, it's going to have that that shadow of Klopp still waning no matter where or who we picked, I think,
Well, I agreed with you until I don't think you meant it, but just in case anybody thinks that when you said he's not up to taking that, I don't think it will be. He would, but no, you said that he wouldn't be up to taking that challenge. That's definitely not what you meant. I know it'll be like. It's more like he's gonna go, no, swerve that. Not now. It'll be more of a intelligent decision, because I've said it all the time. Say, look, ain't nobody going to want to follow Jurgen Klopp. Just there isn't a manager on this planet. Maybe even Jose Mourinho now at this stage, that he knows he's maybe lost some of his superpowers, that can sit down there and go, I can walk in there and take over. Don't worry, I can do that. And have full, nobody wants to come in and take over from Jurgen Klopp.
No.
Not one man. So,
yeah.
It's not a poison chalice, but it will be seen that way by some people.
I think so.
It will be seen as like this. If this goes wrong, this is big. If it goes wrong for you at Liverpool, David Moyes going to Man United is the obvious, comparison to this. But I think it's completely different, because the squad that he was left at United was on its knees. Yeah, it was awful.
The last legs.
Yeah, this guy has a great new squad, which is why I was saying that the one thing about Alonso was that of all the people who do come in have to replace Klopp, the way the world is now, there won't be a lot of patience.
You're wrong.
But because
what I was
of
getting at. That's
the love and affection, the love and affection Alonso has, I thought would have given him the softest
a little bit
landing.
more. Exactly. It would have given them a little bit more of a window.
Can you imagine compared to a De Zerbi?
No,
I mean, De Zerbi would get like 10 minutes. Alonso would get he would have so much credit in the bank and so much affection that he would be allowed to fail for a little while. I thought that was one of the major pluses for him coming in. But if he looks at it,
one of the reasons why I thought he could be an actual option to come in.
If he looks at it, he goes,
"No, coach is going to need that."
Yeah. If he looks at it and goes, "No, not yet," or I couldn't blame him, because it's I mean, an Amorim comes in. I mean, these guys are going to have to get it right straight away, or else
Yeah, yeah.
the fans won't be out for them unless the idiot fans will be.
It'll be. You know what? You know what's a good comparison is I think it would be like Nuno at Spurs, like his little like short stint of of a managerial spot with the Spurs. Like as in the window was not long at all for him, you know. And he's a decent or a good coach, at least decent coach, you know. But they were already like the pitchforks were out, were already like out as soon as he showed up. Much less was he going to be given a run or chance at it. And I also just think that like if you do have, and what I also meant at least by what I was saying is that like what would you do this then? How would you rate this? Would you rate winning the Bundesliga? Let's say you won 2 titles for Bayern Munich for
Bayern Munich
for Bayern Munich. Let's say right. In the next, let's give him a 5-year contract. Let's say you won 3 Bundesliga titles. Okay. But you give him a 5-year contract at Liverpool and you could win 2, if not just 1 title. And it's a different level. You know what I mean? Like as in the amount of like street cred that you would get is hands down a difference. And
we don't want to stray dangerously into this means more territory, but
I'm not saying that means more. I'm not saying it means more.
No. I was joking.
Oh, okay. No, I'm just saying that
look, to do it at Liverpool,
it's a more difficult pursuit of the title in the Prem.
No, it'd be like, but winning it with Bayern would be like winning it with City.
Yeah.
You know, like winning it with Leverkusen is bigger than winning it with Liverpool. You know, that's like winning it with freaking. Well, not quite less. That's like winning it with Aston Villa, basically. Over there. That's Aston, but not even. You know, so it's like, but if he was to come to Liverpool and just even win 1 league title, it's going to be huge. Like Liverpool is bigger than Bayern. You know, if he comes over here, he does that. If he goes to Bayern, he'll be expected to win a league title. You know, it'll be anything less than a league at Bayern is failure. Whereas you come to Liverpool, definitely 100% more. You know, it's 1 league at Liverpool. I think if by what you're saying, 1 league at Liverpool is easily worth 2 at Bayern, easily. Especially if you're going up against City, you know, and an Arsenal and all that. Like Bayern have pretty much, they'll have an off year this season, and then they'll go again next year. Right. Leverkusen lose a few players, but to win 1 league at Liverpool is worth at least 2 leagues over there, I think.
Right. Yep. That's what I'm trying to get at, is that it would be more prestigious. It would be more of like a CV builder, you know, to do that. But I'll be honest.
Oh, it's like, you want.
I don't want to. I don't want to coach. I don't want a coach. Go ahead.
No, sorry, it's over there. So you won the league with Bayern. So what?
Yeah, you won it with Leverkusen.
They won all the leagues.
You won it with Leverkusen. Like if you did, bigger, like. If you won it with Leverkusen and then you can't win it with Bayern Munich, that makes no sense. You know.
Yeah, it's kind of a lose.
That would be like you winning it with Villa, maybe, and prime it with Villa, and then moving up to Liverpool or something, and not being able to win it with Liverpool. It'd be like
going to City and doubling their budget.
Right.
Yeah, it's great and all that, but it's not like. Yeah, it's not an amazing. Like the amazing achievement is getting to be Bayern manager. You know, winning a league with this overpowered, you know, to use a gaming term, you know, an overpowered Bayern Munich team. Doesn't come with a lot of plaudits. if he was to go deep in Europe with them, different story.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but yeah, to do that with Liverpool would stand out way more. And I just like to think that this staying in Germany thing means staying at Leverkusen for a year.
Right. And then there's no guarantee. I mean, journalists get it wrong all the time. There's no
Name a
distinct
journalist with a 100% record. They don't exist.
Exactly.
Even the best, they don't exist.
But what I was getting at too, though, is that I don't want if Alonso's going to look at Liverpool as being a stepping stone to him moving on to Real Madrid, or something like that.
I don't see it like that.
I'm just saying out there.
No, I don't think.
I know
Yeah,
that that's one of the teams he's connected to, obviously.
Hey, nothing wrong with career progression. If I was an Alonso, if I'm Xavi Alonso, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, right, if I'm looking at it in this basic way that we're looking at it,
mm-hmm.
I would be saying, right, I've got, this time now as a manager and I'm going to have a career. This is good, right? This is working out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
mm-hmm.
I've got options.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What's my dream here? What's my plan? Because when I was growing up, I always had, if I was a player, 3 clubs I would have played for if I could have,
Mm-hmm.
If you'd had that choice, it was never just Liverpool. I would have always wanted to play for Liverpool and Inter Milan and Ajax. Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would have wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's sitting there going, yeah, right, I can do this thing now with Leverkusen. Few years at Liverpool, few years at Madrid. If I'm, and get to do a few years at Madrid, few years at Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'd have in my head. He's from Spain. He's not from Liverpool, so he'd be hoping, look, this would be my dream. Imagine that. Imagine that I can say that I played for Liverpool, Madrid, and Bayern, and I also managed Liverpool, Madrid, and Bayern. I think that's a good thing to want to do. I wouldn't blame him for it.
Yeah.
So if it's in his mind to do both, cool, go for Xavi. Just give us. Don't give us 2 years. No, don't give us 2 years. Give us 4. If we're lucky, 5.
Right.
Don't, but give us a proper shot.
When I say stepping stone, that's what I mean, like stepping stone. Like you're gonna
don't come here for a year and no, give us a proper little body.
Don't do what you're doing to Leverkusen, basically, or potentially doing to Leverkusen if you end up, which is
that's food chain stuff. That is food chain stuff as well. I think that's what I think he'll stay there for a year.
But that's also why I'm saying that I don't. If you would do what you did, I know you're saying it's the food chain. I get your concept.
But I mean Leverkusen. I mean,
I get that. I get that. No, that's what I'm trying to get across is that if Leverkusen is going to be like a food chain style, like you eat this to get bigger to go to here, and then you eat that to go bigger to get there. That kind of concept of food chain. I get that.
They're the stepping stone club.
If you're going to look at us as possibly just another stepping stone, or even on the lines of like a year or 2 years, you're going to last at Liverpool and then move on to like Real Madrid. I don't want that. I don't want that.
But we would also be kind of lucky that he would be good enough to stay for 5 years and it all worked out. Like, I think, like it would be a step along a road as such. Whereas I think Leverkusen could be the stepping stone, as it were, the one that, because he was on the radar anyway. There was even if he hadn't done this and Bayern sacked Tuchel and there wasn't that many options around, he was probably in with a shout getting that job anyway. Because they'll do stuff like that. After a couple of, if he'd done well at Sociedad. So I think like the stepping stone bit is kind of done for him, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's just, it's a pathway in his career that he's lucky enough. I mean, come on, to be able to, which club do I want to manage next? Real Madrid or Liverpool?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nice position to be in. So I expect him to do both at some stage.
Mm-hmm.
But I think to come to Liverpool, it should be to build a team and you know, if all goes well, 4 or 5 years, you know, at least one generation of a new iteration of a team, you know. And I think he
Yeah,
will do that.
no,
I don't think he come to. Hey, but look,
that's why like it goes to even to this off-topic question, which was Redbird asks. He says, "Do you think Diaz's dad is being disrespectful to Liverpool by talking about his son wanting to play for Barca when we still are in a title race?" He does. I do as well. I know that his father has certainly taken on a new.
do you know the quote off the top of your head? Because I didn't see it. Do you know, I kind of paraphrase generally what he said, or
Okay, I can. I'll pull.
or was it basically just as
find
simple as
I'll
Luis
find it
wants
for
to
you.
play for Barcelona? Was it that straightforward? Was it?
Mhm.
Because I saw the story that there were quotes, and you know, the story kind of told me I didn't need to know, but I don't remember exactly what it was that he said.
Right.
You know, he hasn't turned around and said, "Oh, Luis can't stand Liverpool. He wants to play for Barcelona." No, I know he hasn't said
No,
something like that.
no, he hasn't gone that far. Um, um, let me see if I'm looking for the exact quote for you here. Let's see this. Let's see. Um, it says, I don't know if this is necessarily the quote, because it says the father of Liverpool winger Luis Diaz, who has been released after being held hostage for 12 days, has released that his son is a Barcelona fan, and his dream would be to play in La Liga with the Cools, the Culés, I think, right?
Yeah,
I say
cool as
truth
cool as.
is, the truth is that I know very little. That he knows very. I know very little about Barcelona at the moment. Let's see if I can find a better quote than that. Basically, he's just saying how it would be his dream.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he went as far as to say it is true that Luis is a loyal Barcelona. And let me double check on this one. Let me pull this up. This comment here says Luis Diaz's father, quote unquote, or quote, "It is true that Luis is a loyal Barcelona fan, and it will be his dream to go there. So far, I would like to thank Porto and Liverpool for the way they welcomed him and received him." That's the quote. Kind of
Okay.
sounds like, yeah, that's not a good,
Okay.
that's not good.
Well, we have all look. It's of
It's
absolutely no surprise to anybody that South American players grow up dreaming of playing
yeah,
for
playing in Spain.
Real Madrid and Barcelona, right? So not news. You know,
Right,
Luis Diaz is a Barca fan, not news.
right.
That bit is fine. You hear it all the time. Yeah, of course, he's a Madrid fan, he's a Barca fan, or he's a whatever fan.
Mm-hmm.
That bit's absolutely fine. That's standard. Of course, it's his dream to play for them. Not really what you want to be saying when he's contracted to
Mm-hmm.
another club. You know, it seems like, you know, he's not. He's around now. This guy, I know. Look, some stuff has happened. You know, and that's one thing. But he's not his spokesman. He's not.
He
He's
isn't.
not his
He
agent.
isn't.
But you know, this is. This to me, look, he's not on a lot of wages compared to a lot of people. A
Mm-hmm.
big move for a player, like it's always in an agent's interest for a player to move because there's always a signing on fee, there's a commission. Every time he moves, there's a commission. So
Okay. Do you
for
want to
them to
hear? Do you
want
want to
more
hear
wages,
you
or
want to hear context? I found a quote. I found a little bit more context. If you want to hear more context, okay. So the truth is, or this is the entire quote. The truth is, I know very little about Barcelona at the moment. It is true that Luis is a loyal Barcelona fan, and it would be his dream to go there. So far, I would like to thank Porto and Liverpool for the way they welcomed him and received him, he said. Luis is a player who finds it easy to win over because of the way he is, because of his humility, his work, his dedication. He's a very disciplined player. He is a very disciplined player. Thank God. There would be no problem if Luis came to Barcelona because it is a top team and one of the best in the world. Added Luis Manuel. And then that's it. That's all. That's the end of the quote. It doesn't read well, and if anything, I think that one thing that's kind of hurting this quote is the fact that, look, his father, obviously we all know what he went through in the sense of being kidnapped, how horrifying that is, and how, like, you know, it seems ever since the day he's been released, he's been living his best life. You know, he's, you know, there's all the videos and TikToks and, you know, and all this, you know, all these different little things that we pretty much never saw before that. Like, he wasn't in the limelight like that before this, you know,
unfortunate event, which we now have to move on from, because he has clearly
he's clearly moved
strong
on from
mentality now.
He's clearly moved on from it.
If he wants to go and live in Barcelona because that's where his son is going, that makes sense to me. Like, this isn't shocking to me. It's not new to me. This kind of stuff happening, it doesn't really surprise me. It doesn't happen to us, and I just mean in football. I don't mean at our club. It rarely happens at our club. You know, if Darwin Núñez had gone and done what some people were trying to, you know, convince me that he was going to do when he came and scored 30 goals last season and be on track for another 35 this season, I wouldn't be at all surprised if his entourage or whoever it was out in the press talking about how much he loves Real Madrid. You know, that's how this shit goes with these players and their entourages, their families.
Right.
It's nice that they're making big money, but you're in Liverpool. We want to move the family to Spain, to Madrid. Like, let's go there. You know, they'd rather be there than here most of the time for bigger money. Yeah.
Which makes profile. Sense. I'm not disputing the fact
they push those moves, man. They push them all the time. They push them all the fucking time. Real Madrid get their spies out. The Real Madrid or Barcelona will get his dad to say something because the agent can't say it or the player can't. But let's get someone close to him to say, I'm not saying anything directly, but I know
no one's going to go directly at this individual considering what he's just gone through. You know, so
classic
like
tactics.
You know, so these are like kind of why I'm saying, like, look, I know that you're happy to have your dad back. That's great. I know personally, if I was Diaz's agent, unless Diaz really wants this to be the, you know, kind of like the cloud that follows him now of being questions that are going to be asked continuously. Are you looking for a move to Barcelona, or he's like, you know, has it always been your dream? Do you really want to go to your dream club and then and all these different little things? You know, having those little bit of breadcrumbs out will allow for some of these, like, you know, some of these roaches to basically.
Do you know what this is? Do you know what this is?
Do
you know what this is? Right. Barcelona can't afford him.
They can't.
They can't afford him. Romano said they've no interest.
Yeah, because they can't afford him.
They have no interest, right?
PSG is the only team that that's something that's like telling. PSG is the only team I've actually literally heard out there saying that they would be possibly interested. That's the rumorville. I understand that, but PSG is the only team that I've actually heard that has an actual chance of trying to, you know, put a deal on the table for him to move to PSG.
And
but
you know what this
PSG is not necessarily like a dream move for him.
They don't need him,
you know.
But you know what this comes down to, these people can't afford him, right? And I've always had the attitude that as soon as a player says that he wants to leave or that he's not happy, then you get rid of him as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I still stand by that, but you know, you can't do that really these days, because what they're trying to do is make it a situation where we kind of want to get rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll be cheaper. He'll be easier to buy. It'll be more of an issue.
Right.
They don't want to have to come straight to us with a player who's 100% happy. There's no stories about it.
Yep.
And, we want to take your player. It's like create noise and create friction and stories about wanting to leave and unsettle the player and make sure the player says, I'm not going to sign a new contract. That's how they're trying to do all this stuff. Subterfuge. Because Romano came out and said they're not interested in it. No interest.
So. And then you utilize, and then you start, and then you do your best to utilize the journalists that you have connections with, you know, to put out the little bit of like, hey, you know what, you didn't hear from me, but type comments, you know, to some of these journalists. You said,
the dad can say anything he likes in public, and it's out there, right? It's out there, and then Diaz can come out and go, oh, you know, hey, ha ha ha. My dad, he's such a fun guy. He always says stuff. You know, he can come out and say, but it doesn't matter then because it's out there.
Right. Yeah.
You know, but Diaz can say, oh, hey, look, my dad was having some fun talking to some people. Or, you know, hey, my dad loves Barcelona. He loves me. You know, he'll make it like a non-serious thing, but it doesn't matter now. It's classic media tactics because it's out there already. It doesn't like that response from Diaz won't get any headlines.
It won't.
You know, but what his dad says.
The thing about it. Like his agent could come out and say, you know what, Diaz is perfectly fine and happy with Liverpool. He's committed to Liverpool. Blah 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 blah. He can say all that stuff, and it's still the headlines are still going to say. But Diaz's father says this. I mean, this is now the second, third time or whatever it is, as Dustin was saying. You know. These quotes are I understand that those quotes that I just said originally were from before. They're from November, actually, the quotes I just had. That I spoke about. But those are the only quotes that I could see that were like recent or that were published that I could bring up quotes. And I mean, like, just because they're from November doesn't mean that they're not.
The point still stands.
Yeah, exactly. He still said them. He still said it.
Yeah.
So whether it was in November or whether it was in March, doesn't make any bit of a difference. If anything, it makes it even worse because he said it in November and now he's still saying it in March, you know, and we're like 3/4 of the way through on a title run, and your dad's talking about other places that you wanted, that you've always dreamt of playing. We don't need that right now. You know, we just do not need that right now. Chill, you know, do your cumbia songs, or I think he's a singer, or something like that, right? I think he does cumbia. You know, or do your dance moves and stuff like that, and your TikTok videos, and keep it to that for right now. In my opinion, we do not need you putting it out there about Diaz's interest in other clubs, especially when this coach is about to leave. You know, we don't need that right now. That's just my humble opinion, at least.
Yeah, and I also think it's could also be on the backside. It could be a wage increase that's being looked for. It could be applied to.
I think that's more so like,
you know, but I don't think this guy is someone who is in line for a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Diaz is someone who's. We've got him on a low contract, you know, by Premier League standards or elite Premier League standards, you know. By any other standards, it's 60 grand a week. It's insane money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so he's not like, oh, we're holding out and then eventually, we're going to have to give him 250k a week. He's not getting 250k a week.
No, he's
you
not.
know, that's not going to happen. So we might double his wages, maybe to 120 or something.
Right. I don't know.
But he's not getting big salary money or, you know, something like that. Like, that's not going to happen.
He's not going to get 160,000.
Yeah, if PSG are out there with 200k, look, I'm Johnny Diaz. I'm from fucking Colombia. I get paid to play football. Hey, look, Liverpool, nice. I mean, cool. Thanks and all that stuff. But you want to pay me 100 grand a week to play football in Liverpool, or you want to pay me 100 or 200 grand a week, 220 grand a week to play football in Paris, or 200 grand a week to play football in
Yeah,
Barcelona?
yeah.
I mean, I'm a
It probably
footballer.
would
I'm a
take something like
professional.
that to move him. Yeah, like
Yeah,
something like that to move him to PSG. Would he'd have to be on 180K, or something like that, or something. But who knows? Maybe this is Chris Angel trying to get some get
I
the
think
tap.
PSG might try. Like PSG are going down this route of youth now, finally, and getting rid of the name.
Yeah, the big names.
Not there's nothing wrong with Neymar, but like once Mbappe goes,
the Neymars, the Messis. Yeah, exactly.
But they will want some experience. They want they're not going to. Apparently, they're not going to go out there and spend.
They've been talking about. There's been rumors out there that Hakimi might be a target for Real Madrid, for instance. He might return to his
Madrid.
Club. Yeah. He's been talking about that. I mean, like, if you start, PSG knows that they could most likely still win the league, even with a depleted, star-studded list of a roster. But
Diaz would rip it up in France as well. Diaz would rip it up in France.
Yeah.
He'd do a great job for a PSG. If you can see them, look, we're losing the left side in Mbappe. We're not buying another Mbappe. Right. We're going to buy some kids, but let's also just have this, not Luis Diaz, but let's say Luis Diaz type profile, 27, proven, not a kid, but just to have him in there as well. Only going to cost us, what would he cost? Like, what's he got left on his deal?
I can tell you that.
I think he's got 2, if from this summer, I think he's got till 2026. So that would be a 2-year deal because he's not one of the 1-year guys. We would have been talking about him last night.
He's not one of the 1-year guys. No, he's not. He's not. He's got at least 2 years left on his salary. I'm pulling it up right now for you.
What would you charge from? What do you think? What's his
market value? Well, I mean, look,
must be 2. I'm assuming
from the reports out there, to be honest with you, with the reports out there, he is supposedly that the reports are out there that he would not go for less than 100,000.
I can't. No way. He's not a £100 million player.
Or 100 million. Excuse me. I said 100,000. I meant 100. Excuse me. 100 million. Excuse me. I'm still looking at his salaries.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
He's currently on 55,000 pounds. He's currently on 55,000 pounds. He signed in 2020. Wait, first off, Luis Diaz making 55,000 pounds. He signed in January of 2022 to a 5-year deal. He is signed to 2027.
Yeah, that wasn't a great
idea. He is signed to
2027. And if that's pre-tax, right?
He's got 4 years remaining.
If that's pre-tax, right? 55 grand a week, and I'm not sure. I reckon it might be in England. If that's pre-tax, that's 25 grand a week take on.
Maybe that's the reason why his dad's talking about. Dad's putting it out there about Barcelona and everything else and stuff like that. Maybe that could be. I mean, put it this way. This is how sad it is. I know he's on his last year, but Adrian makes more money than Luis Diaz. Okay.
Yeah.
Adrian is on 60K a week. Adrian makes more money than Diaz.
It's like I say, man. It's no wonder these boys are out there looking for a big deal.
It's sounding more like, yes, I understand that Barcelona was your childhood, whatever it was, your son's childhood dream team or whatever, but it's sounding more like 25,000 take home as Brian's put it.
If it's after taxes, if that's pre-tax wage,
Yeah.
Because in England, the higher rate of tax, which you only have to earn over a couple of hundred grand a year to earn, you don't have to be a million. Like the highest rate of tax, it's like someone will tell me that, but it's always like basically 50% at the highest
Yeah,
end.
I'm looking
It's
on
50. It's 49.50.
that is his salary. That is his. I mean, like, I'm not sure if it's after pre-tax. Nice, you're saying. I would assume it's probably not after pre-tax because, like, these numbers have, for instance, Salah's at 350,000 pounds.
That's pre-tax. See, that's pre-tax.
Okay, right. So that's pre-tax.
Yeah, he's not getting paid. He's not getting paid 700 grand a week.
These numbers, and then there's like on the source that I use, if there's a green check mark, that means it's been verified. His salary is one of the verified salaries in this list.
So to put it in context, right? If Salah was taking home 350 grand a week, okay, that would mean that Liverpool were paying him 700 grand a week. We're not paying him 700 grand a week. So that 350 is pre-tax. Yep. So he's getting basically 50% of that. He loses 50% of that. Yep. Because we're not paying him 700 grand a week. We know that. He's getting 350 and he's paying tax on it.
Exactly.
So
Virgil van Dijk in this list making 220. He's not making 440,000. You know, like Thiago in here is making 200,000. Yeah. Thiago's not making 400,000 pounds. You know, and these are all verified. These are all verified salaries.
That's all pre-tax. Yeah. So Diaz is probably taking home 25, which, when you look at it, is
about 25.
Is minuscule for a player. So it's not it's not unreasonable for the family to be going, you're 27 now. You don't have two more big contracts left in you. You've one more big. Like, if you were signed a big contract,
he's not going to get another big. He's not going to get another big contract. Signed to 2027. 2027.
If he signed for Barcelona tomorrow, and he signs a 4-year deal, that takes him to 31, basically. So that's your last big contract, unless Saudi Arabia is still a thing in 4 years' time, and you can go off and do that thing. But this now, as a top player in Europe at a big club, I would, if I was Diaz, I would have to be making it. I'd have to make a new deal in the summer, either with Liverpool or another club, because 25 grand a week for someone of his talent, no, he needs to be earning 150 for the next 4 years. He needs to be getting that kind of money. He's worth it. He deserves it. You know, he's going to have to make a new contract with somebody this year. That's inevitable.
Absolutely. That's
so if someone comes in and says there's 60 million for Diaz, you know, we'll give him his bump. You're not going to give him his bump, right? Because you've got him locked in on 25 for the next 5 years, or on 50 for the next 5 years. So why would you give him 200 grand a week? You're not going to do that. You're not going to rewrite his contract and say, look, we'll give you a pay rise. We'll give you 60. We'll take him off your hands, and we'll give him the 180 grand a week that he wants.
Right.
Does that not make sense? Like, that to me makes so much sense.
Yeah.
You know, like, because who can say he doesn't deserve more money than that? Are we going to give it to him? Probably not. Why would we? We have him locked in.
Probably not.
We have him locked in, and he's got 4 years at the top left. Lucky.
4 years if he's
left,
lucky. And
31 in 4 years' time.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 13. I mean, like, look, I mean, even his remaining money doesn't put him in the top 10 for players on this team. So what I mean by remaining is like the gross amount that he has remaining on his contract, even if he were to see his contract out, ends up being like 11.44 million pounds. That's still behind. I mean, that's what Simicast is making more than he is.
Yeah.
Simicast is signed for 4 years up to 2027 as well. And he's making 15.6. Robbo's got 3 years left. He's making 15.6. He still has 15.6 left to make from his contract. Looks like Trent still has 18 million. Van Dijk has 22. Like the players that have lots remaining left, Gravenberch and McAllister both have big contracts. They have the sheer fact that Gravenberch is making £150,000 a week, and he is signed for the next 5 years. So that means we signed him to 2028. He's on the books for $39 million. That's the biggest like chunk left is that. Oh, I got you. The biggest chunk is that left. Yeah, no worry. I got you. The biggest chunk, the biggest chunk left is like McAllister, Gravenberch. Salah still has 2 years on his deal technically, but he has 36 million left. Nunez is signed for 5 years of 36. Then it drops down to Ali with 4 years left on his deal. He's got 31 million due to him. Dominic's got 5 years with 31 million left to do to him.
But we've hit on something here. We've hit on something here that Diaz. I mean, for all the talk stuff, something's going to happen with him this summer, and it's not a new deal, and a big new deal.
It can't. It can't be. It's not going to give him more years. Yeah.
Yeah, we've just
the only thing he can ask for is a pay raise. He can't ask for more years. You're right about that. Yeah.
And is a new manager going to come in and go, oh, double his wage, or is a new manager going to come in and go, oh, 60 million?
Yeah, I think Diaz dad might be speaking on the sense of they're looking at other people on this. They're looking at the wages and they're thinking like, how come you're only making 25K? I mean, I know it's only 25K a week, but
no, and rightly so, completely rightly so on their behalf, because that's the other main point. It's not like he's some, kind of young upstart trying to get, this guy is doing it. He's in the team. He's one of the main players. Like you said, when you look at those contracts and some of the players that are earning more money than him, that's going to happen at clubs, but something that's pretty stark.
Yeah. Yep.
Like some of the guys, like the Adrian and Simcast being on more than him, that's just stupid. So
that's probably insulting to him. Maybe that's what his dad's looking at it as. Like I'm insulted that that's.
This is what I'm saying. A lot of these times, this is just disruptive nonsense. People who are already on big money, trying to get more big money, but we really can't turn around to Diaz and actually go, no, you can't deny it. He is being, by looking at the way it is, way underpaid.
Yeah.
So
it is. Market's got him at 75 million. 75 million euros is his transfer market.
Transfermarkt.com have him at 75.
75 million. He's actually on our list of players on our Liverpool on our roster. I think he's top 5 highest rated player. I think someone put that in the chat too.
They always go low. I would have had him on there at 55 because they always go like base value, like the cheapest price, because they don't want to ever overprice anyone. Yeah. That's their model. But to see him at 75 on Transfermarkt, that's crazy. I'd rip someone's hand off for 75 million.
I'll tell you what. 75 million is what they had him at. Let me see if I can get. Just the. Because it had. I think someone listed it. I want to say it might have been Dustin. That's it in the chat. If you're still with me in the chat, Dustin, I think that you're the one that said that, but I think that he was saying how he's one of our highest transfer market valued players.
Oh yes, he did. He mentioned that earlier on. Yeah. It's, to be honest, the more I think about this, the more I love it. the more I can see this happening in summer, purely from him wanting to maximize his earnings in what's left of his career.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it sounds strange to use the words "what's left of your career," you know, at 27, but also remember it only takes. Look, you get run over by bus, right? That can happen. But let's just say, even worst case scenario on a pitch, you do your knee, you get a bad tackle,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that's you done out for 2 years. I wouldn't have mentioned him earlier on, but and I won't. It'll take me ages to explain why I'm doing it the next time. But we've talked about it now. I really can see him going in the summer. I really can. You know, and it's not being dramatic.
I don't.
Just
I
the way
mean,
we talked this out.
no, it's not.
You know, it would not
It's
surprise
pretty.
me.
I'm looking at transfer market now. Yeah, I'm looking at transfer market right now, and it's kind of. I know that's exactly from what you're saying. I have to gauge it by that as well, but it is crazy. Is that he was spot on. The highest rated players in market value on transfer market are Luis Diaz and Dominic Szoboszlai, both at 75 million euros. He beats out Darwin Nunez at 70 million euros, and he beats out McAllister at 70 million euros. Where's Elliot?
Ali,
Harvey?
sorry, I mean, Ali, where's Ali? No, Ali. What did they have?
Ali's low, actually. Where is Ali? Ali's at 32 million.
Oh. See what I mean? They go low. Good
32 million. They do. They go really low. Yeah. No, Van Dijk's on here at 32 million. You know, Curtis Jones at 35, Gravenberch at 35, Harvey Elliott at 35, Ibu at 35, Diego at 50. These are all in euros. 50 million for Diego, Cody at 50 million, Salah at 65 million, Trent at 70 million, and then again, McAllister has just been up to 70 million, and Nunez up to 70 million. It's just interesting. It's interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, I'm just.
That conversation is going to be had. I think that conversation is going to be had. I think that conversation, there's going to be whoever ends up being. I know I'm breaking up a little bit here. Whoever ends up being, you know, our coach, and whoever ends up being in that room with, you know, if Edwards is in that room, or, you know, or if it's just going to be Hughes, there's going to be a conversation of, hey, you know, that also maybe the 55,000 is also incentive based, you know, type, and a lot of these contracts for these players.
Yeah, oh yeah, don't worry.
Bonus,
I couldn't go into that. Yeah, no, we are famous for being one of the most incentivized teams out there. Like, you know, you can earn.
Yeah.
Like when we were doing well in the league, and when we were winning the league, blah blah blah. There was kind of an example made of someone that was on basically around 300 grand a week summer, and a Liverpool player that was on around 150. And it was like, yeah, but just in this week alone, with this and this and this, that guy is actually making 300 grand. Because a lot of clubs have lower bonuses. We had super high bonuses. Goals, wins.
Same thing happened with City, for instance. Some of their, I mean, they've got high salaries, but what really hurt City this year when it comes to their bottom line is that they won all those trophies. And that meant a lot of those bonuses kicked in, plus their salaries being high, you know? And it really didn't.
And that's brilliant you brought that up, because a lot of people don't realize that sometimes, that actually when we won like 2 trophies, won the championship, won the league, it's like because our players' wages were so low in inverted commas. You know, in compared to, say, some of the other teams, when we won that stuff, our wage bill went through the fucking roof overnight.
It did.
Like it was just okay. You know, this
Mhm.
was money that would have like probably would have bought you a 40 million pound midfielder or something. But yeah, the amount of stuff that kicks in when you win a bloody Champions League, especially when
Yeah,
it comes to the well negotiated deals that we have, that like would trigger bonuses in transfer.
yeah, yeah,
You know, win the league, bigger
yeah. Because I
bonuses in
have
transfer.
they have some of the bonuses on this source I use. They do list if a player has bonuses involved in his contract too. For some of the players, not for all the players. So some of them they put in, and some of them they don't if they're not certain. But
Yeah,
yeah,
like
there's
people
yeah,
say, for example, like strikers want goal bonuses. You know, you would think like
appearance
a striker would
bonuses,
want.
yeah, goal bonuses, appearance bonuses. Sometimes you get bonuses just for sitting on the bench. You know what I mean? Just being called up, and if you're not even a unused player, you still get a
You
bonus
want to win
by
one.
just being on the
Yeah,
roster. Yeah.
that's all you want
So
is a win bone. Like that's what we used to do back in the day on the game. Like you
mhm.
think strikers don't want goal bonuses. They want win bonus.
Mhm. Oh
You
yes,
think
certainly,
strikers want a goal bonus?
because
Yeah,
you're more
they want a
likely
bonus.
to. Yeah, you're more likely to get the wins than you are to get the goals. Yeah.
So if you get a
Yeah.
100 grand win bonus, you know, you don't want that over like a 150 grand goal bonus, you know, and a 10 grand win bonus. You know,
Yep.
you want 100 grand even if you play shit in the team with. You know, you
Yep.
go, okay,
Exactly.
I'll take 50K
Exactly.
for a goal, but even if I do
Exactly.
nothing and you know we get a scrappy win, I'm on the win bonus.
Yeah. Yep.
Appearance bonuses that can bring up for these big boys a win bonus
Yeah.
if you were to obviously appear and then you win and you were to score a goal in a winning game, that could
Mhm.
bump some boy contract up by 150 grand a week.
Yeah.
Like appearance
I,
fees are 40.
if anything, I would say to Diaz, I would possibly, if I was negotiating at least, I'd be like, okay, you know what, we can give you a modest bump. I mean, 55,000 is ridiculous. That's ridiculous that he's making 55K, but we can give you a modest bump to like, let's say 75, maybe 70, because Joe Gomez is making 85, Simicast is making 75, so maybe like that's not even a modest bump, to be honest with you.
Well,
If you were to bump
that's
them to
what I'm
like, let's
saying
say I was
though.
going to say maybe
This
like
is what I'm saying. This is
80,000.
where it falls down. This is where it falls down for me. This is what I'm saying. This is why this all adds up because we can't go into a negotiating table with him and go, right, we have you locked in at 55, but we're going to bump you, but we're only going to bump you 35 grand a week. That's
Yeah,
almost as
and
much
that's
an
this.
insult, isn't it? You know,
Yeah,
he's going to go,
that's being
no, if you're
generous. That
going to
makes
bump
them
me,
35,000 will
yeah,
make them at 90,000. That's a generous bump. That's
yeah,
more
he's
than
going to go,
50%. That's more than 50%. It's like
yeah.
something like close to 60-70% bump pay raise.
He's
That's a
going to have
healthy
three
bump.
clubs. He's going to have three clubs out there that have contacted his agent that would have
I'm
said,
certain that are beast. We're
if
willing
the
to pay
deal,
you
well, yeah, they would have
80,000,
said,
90. Right.
oh no, double maybe, like double what he's on now at least, like 100 grand a week, 100 grand a
Yeah,
week at least. He'll get
yeah,
from. So those offers will be on the table. So this is why this
yeah,
thing is just, for me, it's the most obvious transfer of the summer.
yeah.
It really is almost now the more I think
Oh,
about
you
it.
think so? You think he's going to get transferred? Okay.
Well,
We'll
I'm
have
just saying,
that. We'll have
when we
that.
put this all together, like, why wouldn't he? Because if we were to have success this season, he's still locked in on 55 grand, 4 years
Yeah.
left at the top. Like with
Yep.
everything we just said, an offer comes
Yeah,
in,
he's locked into.
he's going to
If
want
you're
money.
making 50, you're not getting. You're at age 31, which is the end of that
Yeah,
contract. You're not
you're
getting.
not getting there.
Chances are you're probably not getting some astronomical deal, out there for a player that has the subset, you know, qualities or subset talents that he does at age
Again,
31. These
don't forget that.
talents
Yeah,
aren't necessarily
he,
are going to be put into even to heavier question if you're going to get your money's worth out of it. You know?
Also, yeah, that's the elephant in the room as well. Like, he's a really good player, but he's not some superstar.
Right.
You know, so he's, again, it's like, yeah, I can really see it
There's
happening
no
now.
reason.
If someone comes in and goes 120 grand a week for the next 4 years instead of 55 grand a week at
Right.
Liverpool, and we give Liverpool 60.
No,
Yeah,
you're
I
you're
can
spot
actually
on.
get the more
I
things
mean,
about it, I can see it
technically,
happening.
if you look at the starters or what this site has as being the starters for this club, for our club, excuse me, he would be the lowest paid starter on this club. I guess if you do put in Endo, it depends. If you put Endo in as a starter, then Endo becomes the lowest paid starter.
Why, what's he on? What, 130 or something? Or what's that? End of
No, he's on, I believe, 50. Hold on, let me pull it back. Let me pull
He's
up the
on
list
50.
again.
Signed
Yeah, he's on
just beyond.
50. But again, he's signed for Endo's signed for 4 years. He signed from up to 2027. So I know some people had him as being a 3-year deal. It's a 4-year deal. And signed in 2027. He's making 50,000 a week for a grand total of 2.6 million a year. Yeah, I mean, Diaz is making under 3 million. The sheer fact that agent's making over 3 million and Diaz is making under 3 million probably makes his parents say, yeah, we should do something about that. And if it means me getting into the papers and continuously talking about, oh, we thank Porto, we thank Liverpool, but Barca's always been like his dream place. Maybe that'll get you your pay bump, because guess what? Barca can't afford you, nor could Barca. Barca not only can't afford you, they wouldn't be able to put a deal on the table that's going to make Liverpool say, okay, cool, and then you're going to say, are you going to get that crazy deal from Barca in the sense of making 110, 120,000 a week from Barca? There's no guarantee even in that, so it's interesting.
If he was 25,
I know we've spoken about it too long, but go ahead.
Yeah. No, if he was 25, maybe we might renegotiate.
I can see that. Yeah.
But at this age, like, they're businessmen, FSG, like, why would you? I mean, like, you've agreed to pay this guy to paint your house, right? And he's halfway through painting your house, and you walk up to him and you go, "Do you know what, man?
You know what? I'll pay you more. Yeah, let me pay you more for this.
Double. I'm going to pay you double."
No,
because it's just the
right thing.
If
anything, if he wants to have if you want to bring some humor into it, I guess I would sit down and say, yeah, okay, we'll bump you. I wouldn't say 35. That's 90,000. That's nearly 90,000. That's crazy, because that's a crazy bump of a salary. If that means if we give you 90K, I don't want to ever hear Barca even be muttered by any person in your camp. Okay. I don't even want to know how to spell Barca. Okay. So, but I was just going to go as far as to say, if Diaz was to come to the negotiating table, maybe say, hey, you know what? You want more money? Cool. Well, how about you progress to be, the goal bonuses or assist bonuses? We up those numbers, we up your performance bonuses more so. And that's the way that you can get these numbers, because, hey, you signed the deal. They didn't force him to sign that 55,000 a week.
And it's strange
2022.
Because look at what he cost us, 55 million.
Yeah. It doesn't relate to the salary.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of times like you just said, it pretty much relates. Like the bigger the fee, the bigger the salary. And I'm not saying 50 million means 300 grand. I'm not saying that.
No. But how about this?
25 net is low. There is a
right,
disparity there between the two. Like,
how much have you spent for Gravenberch, for instance?
47, 40, mid-40s Gravenberch got.
Mid-40s? Okay.
Yeah.
He's making 150,000 pounds a week.
Yeah. Gee, 100.
Gravenberch is making £150,000 a week.
So that's 8 million a year around. That's around 8 million a year, which means he's on
Yep,
about
7.8. Yep, close enough. Yep,
5 million a year more than
yep,
Diaz is. You know.
yep, yep. McAllister again, a player that got it. That we got him. We got him on that in the 30s because of the release clause, but yeah. It says Grab was
I was in mid 40s.
35 million. Yeah, it says Grab was
I was in mid
35
40s
million.
on euros. It's around 47 million euro. So I was on euros, but it's 47. It's around 47 million euros. So what that is,
Yeah, that was his transfer. Yeah, his transfer was that. Yeah, I was just asking what his transfer was. Yeah, but that's a lot. I mean, he's making both deals. He basically signed. He didn't sign the exact deal that McAllister signed. I think. Let me double check that. Gravenberch signed. No, actually, you know what? I stand corrected. He did sign the exact deal. Obviously, he signed it at a later date, but he signed to June 30th of 2028. Both Gravenberch and McAllister are signed for 5 years. So they're making £140,000.
They're both on.
That's a lot. Yeah.
They're both.
Yeah, McAllister's on £150,000. Yep, exact same, pretty much the exact same deal. Except for the only difference between Gravenberch and at least from my source here, the only thing that's different in this is that McAllister has a bonus, has a high bonus incentive package included.
Because
he has like a 1.56 million a year bonus, a possibility of bonuses for him.
Yeah.
So that could end up making him go from 8 million to close to 10 million.
Yeah. Like what some people don't remember or didn't know at the time, or it wasn't really widely publicized, is what you were mentioning there, is that McAllister was free that summer.
Mm-hmm.
His contract was running. He had like 6 months left on his deal, and they came to an agreement with Brighton that he would sign a new contract, but only with the express intention of then leaving. But that just show, I don't know, that's a very unusual situation. Where McAllister could have just said, "Well, no, I'm going to walk away," which means
that was noble of him. That was very noble of him, considering that he did not have to do that. Most players are you're seeing more players opt for that, for having like leave on a free, because then you get to pick the team you want to go to.
It's risky business. It's risky business doing it that way. Because like when you do it that way and it works out, if you're talking about, say, like on a deal, we gave him 35 million. If McAllister coming to us on a free, just say he still comes to us anyway, just in terms of him coming in on a free, that money probably maybe closer to 20 million is what we would have given him in terms of signing on fee and extra wage if he was. But yeah, it goes to Brighton, which highly unusual, really, for that to happen. But like that idea of bringing your contract down when it works is fine. But like you said, like one bad injury, next thing you know, your club is like, oh, okay, well, you're out for 2 years and you've only got 4 months left. How's your move for Real Madrid looking now? You're going to be unemployed basically in 4 months.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah. I mean, I know that it's going to be interesting what we do this summer. I mean, Joel Matip, we'll be doing a episode on some of these things anyway, but Matip's on £100,000 a year.
Frank lost his
real quick if you go up to Joel and you say, hey, you know what, is it that big of a expenditure for Liverpool to say, we need you on 80,000 freaking, to give him a 1 year extension. Well, we need you on 80,000 or 75,000 instead of 100,000. I don't know if it's that big of a deal for them to re-sign him, but we'll get into that another time. Let's land this plane. Let's land this plane, Brian. We've had the people here for almost 3 hours. We've given them hopefully what they want, which was some.
It took us an hour to actually start tier.
Yeah,
so
we had to get to we had to get to cruising altitude. That's all. We had to get to cruising altitude.
No, you don't get this on other channels. You just don't. It's not going to happen.
You just don't. Absolutely don't. Yeah, absolutely don't. So yes, I'm going to show you one last time. Here is what we were talking about somewhat in the sense of like we were saying about these players, phenomenal players. This is a collection of some of the players that have played for the club, whether it's Bichetti, Bradley, Elliott, Connell, Doak, Kumas, Yoni, Clark, Dans, Kwanzaa, Trent's in there as well. But you're looking at these signed ages of 16, 14, 16, 16, 16, 16, Kumas 11, Dans at 8. Kwanzaa was signed at 5, okay, at the age of 5. I don't even know if it's funny when like why even put a previous club? He has his previous club of Woolston being in there at the tender age of 5, But yeah,
I don't even remember where you were when you were 5.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder what the negotiations were like on that deal.
Well, actually, sorry. We're talking about Gerard Kwanzaa here.
Yeah,
he was probably in there smoking a cigar, just going, "Well, tell me what you can do for me."
Yeah, tell me what you can do for me, not what I need to do for you. You need to tell me what you can do.
Yeah, at the age of 5, he probably drove himself to the meeting.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, but yeah, we basically compiled this list. I think this list is a pretty decent list. Kwanzaa at the top there as well. Fab, Connor. It's a pretty concise. Those are pretty much the 3 names that we have in the rumblings for possible superstar status at some point in their careers. It's very early, obviously, but they definitely have the potential of reaching those levels. And it's a pretty decent list. I'll give you the last look, of the list. We didn't go into Elliott. We didn't get to put Elliott or Gravenberch onto this list. I know, even though I wanted to, I didn't do it though. All the same, keep the passengers and my co-pilot happy. So yeah, it's
right.
Go ahead.
No,
yeah, you're breaking up a little bit. Go say. Oh, okay.
I would have Bradley.
But yeah, that's where we're at. You have Bradley above Fab?
I would have, just to throw a spanner in the works. I would have just pushed it that way because
a lot of people had him. A lot of the chats had too. Yeah, there's a lot of love.
No, we're not going to change it. We're not going to change it. No, we're going to leave it as it was.
Not going to change it.
Okay, but I'm just saying that would have been mine. But
yeah,
probably if it works out well for him. But
no, I mean, look, what it works out for us is that what it looks like it works out for us is that hey, the future's bright. The future's so bright, we got to wear shades. That kind of concept.
If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
What a tune! I mean, what a tune! Really, what a tune! Come on.
There you go. There you go.
Easy listening for there. Damn, Andy Robertson is playing for Scotland. Oh yeah, well, yeah. Andy.
That's that.
Yes,
he is. I know it is one of those head smacks. It's like the Naked Gun when they all like slap their head, smack their head. That's what it kind of feels like. Look, you guys, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. If this is not your final destination, please understand that we wish you a good day, a good morning, a good evening, wherever we're reaching you in the world. And we also would like to say, hey, you know what? Take care of yourselves. Please do focus on taking care of yourselves, because we would like to see, and you have the ability to take care of others in your lives, the loved ones that you have in your lives. It's important that we do. I see one last question. Yeah. Do you guys think Kwanzaa and Connor have impacted more than United Hype Train? Kobe? Oh yeah, that's easy. That's easy. It's the reason why we had to.
They do like this kid. They really
They
do.
do. They like him a lot. They like him. He started the last match. He started. Yeah.
No, the England people now, all the England fans are like, oh, he has to start. They always do it with a young kid. It's like, oh, he has to be starting in the Euros. He has to be doing this.
Yeah,
they are going. They really are going. Now, hey, look, I people whose opinions I trust have said,
this guy's a player. Yeah, this kid's a player.
So yeah, there's probably it's not that he's crap but yeah, the hype, there is a lot of noise, and we've seen it before in England. These young kids get built up, and then they have a bad game. So, but
yeah,
without
and then the arrows, the arrows start flying. But
without a doubt, though, he's good. No, let's not get anything twisted. This kid is clearly good.
Yeah.
I haven't watched him enough.
No,
yeah,
I haven't. I have
these young, kids that are basically that aren't white. In England, that come up and get hype early. I always fear for them with that press over there, because as soon as people start saying nice things about him, yeah, it's like, can anyone find an ex-girlfriend with some shit to say about him? That's instantly going over there. So
look, the arrows came out for Saka. The arrows have come out for Rashford. They'll be quick. They'll be quick. You could be in the limelight. You could be the love, the what do they say, you could be the class of the town, or I'm trying to think how they say it. You could have basically the keys to the city, and the next minute they're changing the locks. So
exactly, yeah.
So be careful what you wish for sometimes.
Build them up to bring them down. That's what it is. Yeah. Build them up to talk them down.
Yeah, that's certainly true.
It's two stories then,
Yeah, but we're gonna be live tomorrow with a new show. I'm going to also. I know it was asked in the very beginning. I'm going to bring back. I'm going to also bring back at the end of the show. I'll probably have or somewhere in the show, if not at the end of the show, maybe in the middle of the show. Who knows? Certainly not at the very beginning, but somewhere in the show, I'm going to also bring out the Frankenstein projects that we've done, because I've constructed the actual presentation, so you can get a visual presentation of the players that we actually constructed. So I will be bringing that back out tomorrow, but we will have an episode tomorrow, same time, same channel, same bat channel, same bat time, or same red channel, same red time. If it says 7 p.m. in the UK, please do look for us on the airwaves, on the internet.
7 and 8.
Yep.
Sometimes generally around 7 o'clock.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. If it says 7 o'clock.
We're within a half an hour ago, right? We're at least within an hour ago. Right?
Yeah. 7:10, 7:20, 7:30, 7:15. Maybe even 7:55. It doesn't matter. As long as it says 7, look for this channel. Thank you guys for joining us today. I will see you tomorrow. Brian, do you have anything that you want to say real quickly before we bounce out?
No, just good night, everybody.
Good night, and God bless, definitely. And we will see you mañana. All right, guys, take care.